5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, everyone. ATYL Media, TikTok. We're here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter/X. Thank you, everybody. It is 8 o'clock, and we are here for another fantastic Splash and Dash morning show. Give me 1 second. There we go. Perfect. Even better. Welcome to another Splash and Dash morning show on a beautiful Tuesday morning. I am your host, Sly Job Sal. Appreciate everybody who's here again on TikTok and as well as through the ATYL media channels on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter/X. I don't know if I'll ever get past the mental block that is calling Twitter something that's not Twitter. You know, it's rough. It's a tough one for me. Anyway, as we get rolling here this morning, we are fresh off of Sonoma weekend. Bringing the comments up over here as well on the old Facebook, YouTube, Twitter X side. Mama named him Bruce. I'm gonna call him Bruce Vibe for Twitter. It's a tough mental thing because like you grow up. I'm 30. I don't know how old everybody else is, but you know, you get so ingrained in calling it one thing. It's so funny. We're already kind of up and yapping already this morning. A little bit of TikTok banter as we've started the day. So we have some good points. I have a nice long topics sheet, as well as some local racing updates from my weekend at Wall Stadium Speedway. Always like to include that I do that. I spend a lot of time there on Saturdays, so always happy to give them a shout out. Great crowds at Wall the last handful of races I've been there. Usually around this time of year, local short track racing, it peters out. It's 100 million degrees outside. People are exhausted. Who's got a baseball game? Who's got a soccer game? Who's got a this? Who's got a that? Especially in the middle of the summer. But I got to tell you, sitting up in that tower, peeking out the side window, there's pretty good crowds. So really happy to see people enjoying local racing as well. Speaking of local racing, we're going to have a guest today, an interview. And then next week, not next week for the show, but next week during the week, I will have a guest that I'm going to talk to. If you follow him on if you follow him on Instagram or TikTok, that's where I found him, NASCAR John. John is a local to, I believe, Dominion Raceway. He does some different content about NASCAR, but he's getting involved in his local short tracks, similar to what we're doing in our kind of pathway here as well. So I'm really amped to talk to him. He reached out to me, which I love because I'm a little nervous sometimes to reach out to people and be like, hey, do you want to come and talk to this stranger on the internet for an hour on a Google call? You know, that's not always normal. But I'm glad when people do reach out to me because it makes it a little easier in my brain, and it's always fun. So going to be really excited to talk to him. This week's interview was with Trevor from Five Wide Sports. If you've been paying attention, you could already listen to it on Spotify. First clip went up yesterday. It's tough to clip a long form combo like that into moments, but he's got some great stories. He's known mostly for the like the montage mixes that he makes. So that's really the core pillar of what he does. He's done some great work for drivers now, Noah Gregson and Carson Hocevar and a handful of others. He's met a lot of these folks and got some good stories about it. So pay attention there, give it a listen on Spotify, and we'll do more of those as we continue moving forward. Again, just not a real, not as organized as I'd like it to be, where I have like every week, here's the schedule, but trying to gauge interest and make sure people all feel included in the community. That's kind of the voice I want to have on here, is giving the creators a little bit of a place to call home. So I already see some comments here on TikTok. We're gonna start the day off hot. All right. Also, too, I need to move my body over this way. Give me 1 minute. I apologize. I need to move myself over this way. Okay. I don't know why my camera's being funny today, but it's haha fun, not haha funny, but peculiar funny. I always love when people come in here with these comments. NASCAR is a disaster, a dying sport. See, like, you could get away with that on Facebook, those comments, right? But when you come into Sal's community on TikTok, it's like, I don't have to say anything. Other people just are gonna jump down your throat and let you know that is, in fact, not the case. So I feel like I got to give like little uniforms to all the people that help me in the comments, because we're out here fighting a war, brother. Big MTJ day, by the way. Not really sure how this happened. I'm trying to find shirts that I haven't worn before on the stream. I'm pretty sure I've worn this one on ATYL Live, but try to wear different apparel. I've seen Tyler Pennell do those whatnot hauls. I'm trying to find like a whatnot haul that's just t-shirts, like old t-shirts, not $1 million. Somebody's cleaning out like their grandpa's garage or something, and is just like, get these out of here. I would love to like a box of extra large t-shirts with like drivers on them. And I don't know how you do that or where you get that from, but that's what I'd like to do moving forward a little bit with some of the, just to mix it up on stream, right? Because these clips live on the internet. So, Anyway, we'll get started here with what we're really here for, ladies and gentlemen. Sonoma, wine country. Not a lot of whining from the field in this race, because there was one standout star far above and away. This is the greatest road course racer in NASCAR history. That is what this is. Shane Van Gisbergen is coming into the NASCAR Cup Series and doing something that no one else has been able to do. Now, it's tough to compare to previous eras, previous drivers, previous tracks, previous cars. But in a broad sense, in a broad stroke, best driver on this type of track, I don't think there's a comparison for SVG. We talk about his experience in the past. Supercars, it's not super different in terms of what else is out there in the racing world to a cup car, right? It's a full-bodied car, fenders. We see what he did in supercars. Now you have him in the cup cars. It looks eerily similar. The driving style, the car's a little different, but the driving style is the same in places like Chicago and Sonoma and Mexico City. And it'll be the same at places like Watkins Glen and the Roval. And I would say that if anything, since he's come into the Cup Series, he's gotten better at the road courses we run in the NASCAR Cup Series than he was when he first came over, even when he was winning races at Portland and Chicago the first couple of years that he was kind of on this side of the sport in the States. So it's, now you sit there and I say he's the best, right? And this is a good deal. Jeff Gordon was one of the best road course racers around. If there were more road courses in Jeff Gordon's day, in his prime, probably would be regarded as one of the best ever. Juan Pablo Montoya, also another wonderful road course ringer. I think, we've had a lot of drivers come in and try to be what SVG is now and weren't able to. And I think that's a testament to how difficult the car is to drive, especially in this new era, right? Kimi Räikkönen came over and tried to run this car at Watkins Glen. Oh my goodness. There's another driver. He ran for 2311. He's from Japan. And I'm not going to remember his name. I could close my eyes and see his face and see the car that he ran. He ran a Mobil 1 67 car at Watkins Glen. Or no, it was a TRD car at Watkins Glen. I'm not going to remember his name. If anybody knows who I'm talking about, please help me. I got to look it up. Sorry. Who was it? Kobayashi. That's who it was. Kayumi Kobayashi drove in 2023 for 2311. That was who it was. Just a mental block there. Couldn't get it done. But there are drivers, and if you've never heard of these people, I could sit here and tell you all about them, but people like Juan Pablo Montoya and Kimi Räikkönen and Kobayashi and all these different drivers that have come over here. These are people who have very high pedigree of international racing, and they have experience. And for them to come over and run in the next gen car and it kind of not work out, and then SVG come over here and absolutely put a walloping on everybody, there's something to be said there. And I think it's crazy that there's fans out there who are going, I'm not saying anybody in here is saying this, but you sit on the internet for a little minute. The Twitter /X threads. And it's like, well, this is the end. Like this is a road course series now. And it's like, I think everybody needs to just pump the brakes. I think we need to understand and appreciate what SVG is as the best road course racer. It opens up a whole nother bag of worms to have different conversations about the playoff format and about point standings and about the way points are given. And we can talk about all that, which is fine. I don't think it's going to do anything in terms of make me feel better about changing things or if it's fair, in my opinion. What my opinion is versus what is reality are two different things. Now, Denver on YouTube. Denver, now your NASCAR fans know what all supercar fans knew for ages, by the way. He's a future supercar Hall of Famer. Yeah, you know what? That's an interesting piece of it, because I don't think anybody in the NASCAR world had ever heard of Shane Van Gisbergen until he came over, because supercar is not really marketed to an American audience, right? So I've gotten more supercar experience now that SVG's around doing this, because it's in front of me online, which has been great because it's a wild series and it's a ton of fun to like watch them race the way that they do. Duke is in the chat. Good morning, Duke. If you're not watching Nitro Nation with Duke, you're missing out. NHRA, get after it. Duke's out here delivering top fuel level entertainment for a top fuel series. So make sure you're locked in. But SVG, I mean, we talked about him after Chicago. We talk about him after Mexico. We're going to talk about him again. I did predict, this is a comment, talk about the fact that Larson has been trashed since Indy. I did talk about how this could have been a Larson comeback week at Sonoma. He's been good here. I don't know what's going on over there, but the dominance is not as prevalent as it usually is. Now, this is a guy who's leading the points, right? So tough to say, tough to criticize a slump. These things happen, in any sport. But I am very optimistic that he'll figure it out. That team is always figuring it out. Can I ask your opinion on Carson Hocevar? Seeing a lot of hate on him lately. Interesting to see him and Josh Berry get into it this week. Hocevar was running in the top 5 there on strategy in Sonoma, and not really sure what the deal was. The dealio with him and Berry. There was nothing that transpired after the fact, any kind of conversation. But yeah, Josh Berry just bins him going up through right after the restart there and just cleans him out. So I know Carson isn't making many friends on track week over week, but Yeah, maybe it was just like a result of all the different situations happening in that race, because Sonoma is such a tough kind of track to pay attention to every battle because things get so strung out. You can't see, you know, you can get a camera angle in turn 2 on an oval and see kind of the backstretch or see other parts of the track or kind of get an overhead view. It's a lot harder to do at a road course. So maybe there were things that I didn't see that kind of brought that to a head, and then that situation unfolded. But what will the narrative be when SVG is ahead of Barry in playoff points going into the playoffs? Yeah. What will the narrative be when SVG is ahead of a lot of people going into the playoffs? What will the narrative be when he wins the Roval and advances in the playoffs? What will the narrative be? I don't know. It was wild. It will be wild to have these conversations when the time comes. There are going to be a lot of haters. There's going to be a lot of haters, but this is, again, I'm always going to stick to this one mentality on this, and it's don't hate the player, hate the game. That is the mentality you have to have. Whether you think it's right or you think it's wrong, it doesn't matter what we think. You know, a box is a box, and this is the box we have to play. We play inside of in the Cup Series. So this is the structure right now today. This is the way we have to deal with it today. If it changes in the offseason or changes in the future, we understand that the box might change shape another time. But for the reality we're living in right now, we could see SVG go from, rookie Cup driver to round of 8 contender in the playoffs based on the road course schedule. And it's well-deserved. The guy blows people's doors off at road courses and street courses. It's my response to it is for other drivers to get better. And listen, who am I? I'm a professional yapper, and I'm sure teams are meeting in competition meetings and trying to figure out how to do this, right? Everybody has the data from Trackhouse and from SVG to see his SMT, and everyone's looking at the same information going, and they're trying to figure it out. Sal is a professional yapologist. Yes, and yapologist, Dr. Sal, Dr. Slide Job Sal, yapologist, MD. That's me. Oh, my goodness. A lot of people are talking about a point cutoff for playoffs, like a positional cutoff. If you're still below a certain number in overall, but he's got 3 wins this year. So I don't know how he would end up dropping down to 30th overall unless there was some kind of catastrophic implosion. Do you think people are going to start cleaning him out on road courses? That was what I thought was going to happen at Sonoma. There was enough restarts at the end of that race where I thought I was texting a buddy of mine, and he and I both said to each other at one point or another, when does somebody just put the fender to him? When does that happen? And just clean him out. He got Briscoe lined up next to him a couple times. I didn't think Briscoe was the kind of guy who was going to really race him hard enough to wreck him. But that's not right either. It's not right either to wreck somebody for a win. Just, but they know that they're not better straight up. So, I mean, you rough them up a little bit. You try to get an advantage. I think that's fair. I think, hard racing is hard racing. You saw it in the Xfinity Series where in Chicago, Zilich gets run hard by SVG. Well, guess what? Now Zilich knows how hard he can run SVG. So he gave it back to SVG this week and he beat him. So, maybe we can take some of the elements from that battle in the Xfinity Series, and drivers in the Cup Series can see that and kind of understand, okay, we can push this guy a little harder. I'm not saying wreck him. That's not what we want. But check out Jeff Gluck's 12 questions with SVG and answer he had to Chases regarding his biggest strength on road courses. It opens the door for SVG to start dumping people too, and he'd be even more unstoppable. That's true. When if you're going to go tit for tat with somebody like that on road courses, if you bump and run him, he can run back through the field. I mean, the end of stage 2, he pit and he ran back through the field to come back to the lead. Do you think SVG will figure out ovals? He's gotten better year over year on ovals. Do I see him winning on, do I see him winning a Bristol or winning a Darlington or a Kansas or anything like that? Maybe, but I think this is where the cup drivers, the full-time cup drivers, step in and say, all right, pal, this is your thing. Well, this is our thing. We've been doing this for a long time. You haven't. So just let us be the experts at the ovals. So that it's really up to the field at a certain point. As a supercar fan watching SVG for a long time, SVG is not challenged by the cup field. Ty Gibbs and Tyler Reddick are the closest, but when SVG is challenged, he brings out a whole new level of brutality. I mean, yeah. He plays with his food before he eats it. We saw that in Chicago. Hating the game doesn't fix the game. You're absolutely right, John. I agree 100%. I think people are kind of just need to use a little bit more brain power, be a little bit more measured in some of the reactions. It's going to be okay ultimately. Who could compete with SVG in a cup car right now? Zilich, we haven't seen him in a Zilich hasn't had enough time in a cup car, but he certainly gives SVG a run for his money and then some in the Xfinity Series. I think Ty Gibbs is there. He's close. If Ty Gibbs isn't back at the shop every week practicing right foot braking, I would be stunned. This kid's got to be on the simulator figuring it out. I do think Reddick is in the conversation there. I think Briscoe might be in that conversation as well. That 19 car has always been competitive at road courses. It's hard. Michael McDowell runs well at road courses also. I don't know. It's a tough thing to. It's tough. It's tough because I feel like road courses for the most part before SVG, you'd have like a consistently good performing, roster of drivers. And then, but every once in a while you'd have someone who come in there and kind of was a surprise. And I feel like that narrative is shifting now because you got one guy who's just blowing everybody out of the water. Well, that's a good point too. Trackhouse brought SVG in to do exactly what he's doing right now. This is the whole point. It's the whole point. Christopher Bell. Yeah, Christopher Bell's been quiet the last few weekends, but I think Christopher Bell's a good road course ringer as well. AJ Allmendinger was complaining on his radio all day about the car and how bad he was and how bad the car was and how he was very critical of himself, I heard, over the headset there. So something wasn't right in the car or in the way he was feeling in the car. I had him in my ATYL picks, so a little disappointing there, but usually he bounces back pretty well. He's a Roval guy big time, so see if he can figure it out for that. What is going to happen is the late race caution. He stays out and every car behind him pits. It will take everyone to beat him. Could be. Depends on the strategy. Depends on the track. Depends on the race. All right. Talk a little bit more about what we got here. Shane Van Gisbergen led 97 laps, the most ever in Sonoma Cup history, broke Jeff Gordon's record of 92 laps led. He's the fastest driver since Parnelli Jones. That's 1967 to win 4 Cup races in as few starts as he has. He's now tied with Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson for the most rookie wins in Cup history. And he could win more. The man is in a class of his own, a zip code of his own. 3 straight road course wins. He's joining big names like Stewart, Gordon, Wallace, and Richmond in these categories, which is a big shift. A big shift. Where do you see Suarez landing after Trackhouse? Probably the Xfinity Series. I hope he lands in a competitive Xfinity Series ride. I don't know if his sponsors will want that. He may end up at a Aspire-esque type position. I think someone commented here before, and I saw it, and I didn't mean to ignore it. What's up, Cap? The conversation around where drivers will go, and we'll get into this as we go along here too, is going to shift pretty substantially as 2311 and FRM go through their, once again, filing for a preliminary injunction. So, surprised at Brad K, Rick Ware Racing. Oh, Duke. Any new partnerships? We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that a little later. We do have a new partner on board for the Splash and Dash Morning Show and for Slide Job Sal and the content we do here. Can we guess the partner? Let's see if we can do that. Guess the new partner. Who could this new show partner be? Who could it be? I wish I was doing media full time. I don't think I'm good enough to do media full time. So if someone else wants to roll the dice on me to do media full time, it would have led the show. I would have opened the show and just blasted that announcement. I would have led the show with that announcement too, Adrian. That would have been a great partner to have on the show. What a coupon code that would be. I feel like a lot of the conversation this week. Howard got me. Howard got me. Woo-hoo! Howard got me pretty good. That's a good one. Daniel's got a good one too. Oh man. Oh, shoo. Damn. Dude Wipes is the only one I can repeat so far. That's crazy. That's crazy. Y'all are having too much fun with this. I'll talk about it a little more at the end of the show. It benefits everyone here because you get something for free out of it. Everyone gets something for free out of it. So. Yeah, Duke's Mayo. That's a good one. If I get a Duke's Mayo sponsor before Big Duke does, the man's name is literally first name Duke. Well, not first name Duke, but to me, he's first name Duke. Then what kind of world are we living in if he can't get it first? Anyway. Talking about the SVG thing again, real quick, before we jump into the next portion of the conversation here. As time goes on, driver profiles will change. Drivers will move. Suarez will move. People will move. But we don't know where they will be because there is this charter conversation. And nobody really knows what the deal is going to be with, 6 charters now that are in limbo with 2311 and FRM. So we'll know by December 1st. I mean, we could see 2311 and FRM competing this weekend in Dover as open cars if the courts so rule. So we'll see what happens. But that's something else that to consider, to keep an eye on. Everybody loves free stuff, Frosty. Everybody loves free stuff. The biggest talking point seemed to be on pit road this week at Sonoma in the Cup Series. It was Ty Gibbs and Brad Keselowski's pit crews having a bit of a scuffle. Now, don't get me wrong, but let's just get this out of the way. Brad K's team is over the wall too early. They shouldn't be there, first of all, in my opinion. This isn't something that happens on a weekly occurrence where guys are in the pit box standing there and you got to worry about a car flying through your pit box. It's Ty Gibbs right away, just like he said. And Ty Gibbs is going to get a lot of hate because it's Ty Gibbs. But Ty Gibbs isn't doing anything he shouldn't be doing here. He's minding all his P's and Q's based on the lines and the marks in the box. And I don't think Ty Gibbs is going down that pit lane and going, you know what, I'm going to clip the carrier on the 16. You know, I don't think it's a premeditated thing. I think it's just I need to make sure I'm lined up in my pit box to get my stop done the best I can. And this is something that happens when you're running in these tight of tolerances. The 6 team obviously felt different. I think they're probably a little off on that. Yeah, it was close. Yeah, it happens. But not a deal where it's all on Ty Gibbs. So, yeah, he almost got run over. Carrier was playing a dumb game and almost won a dumb prize. Almost gets run over, and then almost goes by himself to go push and shove with the 54 team. Like, so you're going to get run over by a driver and then get your ass whipped by his pit crew. Maybe we just don't do this. Maybe we just choose safety and on pit road with, you know, people coming in at 100 miles an hour. Correct. Yes. You cannot stand in the middle of the pit lane and expect a car to potentially not hit you. Who do I think will win at Dover in both series? I haven't checked the driver lineup yet, but I have to tell you, I do think Dennis the Menace Hamlin is going to be a contender this year at Dover. He won last year too. 48 always runs good at Dover as well. Xfinity Series, I think Ryan Truex is going to win. Ha 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 ha! Bet nobody thought I would say that. I think Denny Hamlin said they allow tire carriers to stand over the wall to prevent injuries. They can. I understand standing over the wall and not having to jump over the wall with one of them big ass tires. Those things are heavy as hell. But we don't need to be leaning out into pit lane. You know, staying as close to the wall as you can while being over the wall is one thing. Being in a position to get clipped by a car. It's not like Ty Gibbs was like ripping the pit wall. He was off of it enough. So I think it's just a deal where they're trying to shave a couple extra seconds, and they did a little messing around and finding out, and now, you know, this is what it is. But this was one of the big talking points this weekend after the fact. Gibbs' reputation does precede him. So if it was anybody else, it would probably not be a huge story, but people are still going to roast him on the internet. He did say, he was quoted as saying it was incidental, not intentional at all. You have to believe it. You know, it's not something where this is something he's doing every week. It's not a situation that comes up often. But I would bet you the tire carrier doesn't jump over the wall as far again, especially if that 54 car's in front of him in the pit order. The optics did look weird a little bit, for sure. It did look a little strange. But yeah, I think it's like a weird thing, and then you just move on. It's one of those things. It's like racing deals happen on track, racing deals happen on pit road, and that's what I think this is too. Ty Dillon is the GOAT. We're getting to that next. We're getting to that as we go down. We got one more first. Did anybody see the Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez bumping and banging that happened? Chastain sent his buddy, his teammate, Daniel Suarez, for a spin there in the hairpin. I don't know if there was pressure from behind on Chastain and he just couldn't brake hard enough to make it work, but it sure looked, you talk about optics, it sure looked like it was a punt through that corner to get that spot. On a teammate is wild, especially given the situation at Trackhouse where they know that Suarez isn't going to be back next year. It's like, all right, yeah, maybe we're not going to beat this guy, you know, halfway to death in the corner. It definitely didn't bubble over into anything additional, but Suarez did say he better not hope I get back to him. So I guess he wasn't too happy about it in the moment. Sure, it won't. Sure, they're having a fun competition meeting this week, trying to figure out how to be better moving forward with one another. But yeah, it's one of those deals that happens especially at a place like Sonoma. I was watching some of the old races at Sonoma. Guys were punting each other through 11 all the time. Every lap, somebody was getting moved. So I get people get frustrated. It's not a good look and not a good optic when it's a teammate, but that turn is very much so kind of like just a spawning ground for these wild contact points. Yeah, Chastain traded the race car in for a Kubota tractor. New to NASCAR, what are competition cautions and what are they the same as stage cautions? So stage cautions are competition cautions, essentially, yes. So the stage comes to an end after a certain amount of laps. They throw a stage caution, which is essentially a competition caution. There are other situations in NASCAR where they throw a pure competition caution. They'll do it sometimes when there's weather or there's, the most notable recent time is rain. Like if it rains, they'll throw a comp caution for the field to come down and put rain. Everyone puts rain tires on. It's not a time stop. You all go in and get tires. You all come out the same way you went in. But we really, in the Cup and Xfinity series and Truck series, there's not a ton of competition cautions, but essentially they are stage break cautions, and competition cautions are basically the same thing with two different names. All right, third incident of the day was Ty Dillon and Alex Bowman. Now, this was less of an incident and more of a strategic move for the Cinderella man, Ty Dillon. The final corner, Ty Dillon needs to beat Bowman in the bracket to advance to the final four to win $1 million. Now, I don't think this is what NASCAR thought they were going to get after Atlanta, that Ty Dillon would be the talk of the town trying to win himself $1 million over all these other drivers and be this underdog story. But here we are. Ty Dillon moved Bowman in the final corner to advance in the bracket challenge. He admitted he did it on purpose because the $1 million stakes were massive. Ty Dillon said there's $1 million on the line, and it means a lot for us. The bracket matters to some of these smaller teams more than maybe it did to drivers like Alex Bowman and Hendrick Motorsports, right? Kaulig Racing, Ty Dillon, $1 million goes a long way for them. So I'm interested to see just how desperate these guys get now to win that $1 million. We'll talk about the bracket breakdown a little bit later in the show, but it's definitely been a lot of the underdogs. I believe John Hunter advanced as well over Eric Jones. That was a one position kind of deal too. They were trading, but it's made for a lot of good social buzz. I mean, it's been fun to see the drivers get a little more engaged with their audience and show a little more personality through social media to promote the bracket and promote their matchups. So I can support it at least from that deal. But yeah, Ty Dillon, not somebody that you think of every day on track, right? So it's cool to get a little bit of a limelight on some of the drivers that aren't always typically running at the front of the field through this kind of competition. All right. We kind of talked about it already, but is 6 road courses overkill? They asked Brad Keselowski, who's not good at road courses, if road courses there's too many road courses. Obviously, he's going to say yes. I think 6 is too many. I think 4 is the magic number. But do you think fans care about the bracket, or is it another gimmick? I don't think they care about it this year. Real quick before we keep going on the road course combo. I don't think fans care about it this year because a lot of people's favorite drivers got knocked out the first week. And every bracket's busted week 1. And it's like, okay, GG's. That's it. So I don't know. It seems gimmicky this year, but I think it's got good bones. And I think if they do a little bit of tweaking next year with the tracks they're on, I think fans could really get invested in it. Reading the rules, you can't fuel before competition cautions. Is that correct? So right before a stage, you can come in and short pit a stage, but you lose all your track position. So if you come in with 2 to go, you'll be better positioned for the restart on the next stage, or the beginning of the next stage, but you won't be at the front of the field on the stage in the new stage. Let's talk about this 15 years from now when there's 10 street courses, road courses. You think so, Duke? New fans are tired of the same old stuff. NASCAR will have to adjust. You're probably right. I think NASCAR is going to go the way of. I think the EV series is what's going to take over the road course, street course prominence in NASCAR. It's obvious that they're developing those cars. We saw them at Chicago. They're just sitting around waiting to be used. You know, I think there's going to be a big push through that side of the sport to see that road course NASCAR hype happen where, okay, yeah, we're going to run almost, maybe they'll run a full road course schedule in those EV cars or an Indy car schedule where it's kind of a road course dominant oval, you know, some ovals. I think the car will affect it, right? Like the new Gen 7 car, this next gen car. Does it run good on road courses? For SVG, it does. For everybody else, I mean, I think we've all kind of identified that the 1.5 miles are the place to be. But I 6 is a lot. Unless they go to more diverse places, I'd love to see them do. Well, Road America's on the top of my list. I'd like to see them go there, and Mid Ohio. I think those two. I think we need more East Coast races in road courses. I see an EV city series that would be cool. F1 type length races. And you know what? I think that's the ticket. I think that would be a dope feeder system for urban road course, street course settings. It's logistically, there's no fuel involved. You can make all the tree huggers happy. You know, everybody's happy to have EV in the city. Let's do it. Let's run it. Last one. How is lane position determined at the start? The start of the race or the start of the stage? Start of the race, it's based on qualifying position. Start of the stages is typically a choose cone. That'll happen after cautions too. It's running order and choose cone depending on the situation. So at the beginning of the race, it's based on their initial qualifying positions. So when you go to New Hampshire, you'll notice, okay, they're going to lay down qualifying laps. You know, fastest lap goes on the inside of the first row. And then the second place car will be on the outside of the first row. And then so on and so on. Third and fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh and eighth and so on and so on and so on. So you'll notice that. Thanks, Duke. I appreciate it. We're having a good morning this morning. I appreciate everybody for being in the comments. This is part of what makes the show so great in the first place is not me, but all of you and interacting with everybody here in the chat. I'll tell you what, we're kind of getting scatterbrained, but NASCAR is doing a live hauler stream from Sonoma to Dover. Here's my pitch to you all. I would like to host that. Put me in the truck in Sonoma. I'll fly there. Put me in the truck. I'll drive back with the hauler driver. We'll do a show just like this for however many hours it takes to go from Sonoma to Dover. I think it'd be a hit. I think we'd have, as long as I could stop at like Flying J or Buc-ee's or whatever to get a cup of coffee every however many miles, I think we'd be good. I think it'd be entertaining for the people. What do you think? Side Job Sal on the NASCAR YouTube? I don't know. I'm gonna speak it into existence. Anyway, are there too many road courses? 6, 4, 10, 12? I do think there's a balance. I think right now with the current driver roster, people aren't real jazzed about how many road courses there are, but could change moving forward. This is a Martin Truex Jr. Auto Owners crew shirt I got from Happy Hour Sports, by the way. Check it out. Check out Happy Hour Sports if you don't know about them. They have some great stuff on their store. You can get stuff like this, renewal boxes every month. It's dope. We talk about cutting road courses, though. I feel like you can't get rid of Sonoma and Glen. The Roval should probably go away. And road courses used to be these wild card events, right? Now they're not. So kind of different, kind of interesting. But I would love to see them cut back on the Roval, go to Charlotte Oval twice a year. Sonoma and Glen, keep great. If you're going to add a third, Road America, and then a street course. That is my dream road course scenario for this. But, you know, maybe that'll happen. I'd like a Las Vegas. Somebody asked me not too long ago if NASCAR would ever run a Las Vegas style street course like F1 does for in Vegas. And I just don't see how they would be able to logistically get away with it. I don't see how they'd be able to get away with it. Just because I've been out in Vegas when they're building that track, and it is that street course. It goes down the strip. It'd be like the biggest road in your town. They close it to put a racetrack there. Logistically, the city, they do it once a year for the duration of the contract. That's a big contract that they get for the city to do that. But I don't know if you'd be able to shoehorn in on that and do it twice. Same deal with what they were trying to do at Long Beach. Same kind of deal. There's just a lot happening. Logistically, does it work? I don't know. The visuals of the cars going down the strip would be crazy, though. Do NASCAR fans really not like road courses that much? I don't think it's that traditional fans, like Duke said here in the comments, traditional fans don't like them as much as new fans do. I'm an oval guy. I like the oval battle. I was running ARCA at Auto Club last night, and I was having a blast. Like, I like oval tracks for myself. I think street courses and road courses in this new next gen car have been supremely entertaining, even with SVG out there just, beating the brakes off everybody. So Indy Road Course gave us a good show. The problem with the Indy Road Course is not the road course. It's the fact that the Indy Oval exists at where they race the Indy Road Course. At the time NASCAR was running the Indy Road Course, they weren't running the Indy Oval, a place that was a crown jewel race in the Cup Series. You wanted to win at Indy on the Oval. So it's not Indy Road Course's fault, but I think when you talk about that track, people would much rather have the Oval than the road course. Oh, he's a Joey Logano fan. God bless you, brother. I talked to a couple Joey Logano fans recently. Good driver. But yeah, some of the road courses, though, like, I think for me, if you're going to go to these road courses, make them, go to the track and have it be a true road course. Like the Roval, again, gets a lot of scrutiny because people know how good the racing is on the Oval. So let's just not even bother. That's why the optics are, because if you look back at like the history of the Brickyard 400 and how great those races were on the Oval, you're going to now come in and tell the fans, okay, we're going to run the road course in Indy. We're not going to run the Oval. They're going to hate it right away. You're setting it up to fail right away. That's the perspective I have. Same with the Roval, where it's like, okay, you've watched the Coke 600, how many years? All right, now the second race of the year, we're gonna run it as a road course, and people are like, "What do you mean you're gonna run it as a road course? We want the Oval again. This was a great race in the spring. We want another good one in the fall." That's where I think some of the road courses get hate right out of the gate, especially from some of the legacy fans. But I don't like legacy fans, the older traditional fans. But that's why they're doing road course and street course stuff in cities, to try to introduce it as its own new unique product. And I think that's why when we talk about like, okay, Sonoma and Watkins Glen are like these non-negotiables. They will be on the schedule. It's just because they're so solidified in the sport as their own premier road course event. There's nothing to compare it to because it's its own thing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they sure are. So you're a Jersey guy? I could see Baderfield from my back window. Yeah, they're trying to build an F1 style track in Atlantic City. I don't know if what they'll do with that. I've been around South Jersey long enough to not hold my breath for any construction project that has ever been promised to this area. I've lived in between Ocean and Atlantic County my whole life. So, I was really jazzed when I heard that they were gonna do this, but I don't know if we'll ever really see it come to fruition. So I don't know about the Atlantic City course. They have New Jersey Motorsports Park. K&N Series used to run in South Jersey, but yeah, I live in Egg Harbor now. So, do you think you should have NASCAR Road Course Championship? 40 of the best road courses drivers, 8 road courses, 24. Hold on, I got to read this completely first. I think it'd be interesting to do like a road course bracket. I think that'd be cool. If you want to do like an in-season challenge, or let's do like the crown jewel races are their own deal. Like, okay, maybe there's like a crown jewel equivalent of road courses, but I don't want to see us do 10 road courses and then have like a road course champion. That to me, I'm not a fan. But I think if you do it in a shortened solution, like, okay, crown jewels of road courses like Watkins Glen and Sonoma and that deal, maybe that'd be a little gimmicky. But NJMP is kind of small for cup cars. It might work for Xfinity. Would work for trucks for sure, but the purse price I think is a little too steep. We need a 3-mile figure 8 oval in Atlantic City. Yeah, it goes right down Pacific Ave. Talk about visuals. Have it go flying past the Tropicana or the old Taj. People would hate so hard if they ever did a race in AC because it'd be like the thrift store Formula One equivalent. Anyway, are there too many road courses? Are there too few? It's a debate that will go on and on and on as SVG continues to rack up these wins on these types of tracks. It's just rough because now you're going to have this conversation again. And I'm not going to sit here and harp on it over and over. Talk about it as much as people want to talk about it. But SVG has 3 wins, but it's still way down in points due to the ovals. Should the win get you in? Again, don't hate the player, hate the game, but this is a guy who could advance in the playoffs based on road courses alone. That's my final take on the SVG Sonoma stuff. So Truex and SHR at Dover, trying to go back to back. He won last year in the 20 for Joe Gibbs in that TRD car. This year he's going to run what seems like, I don't know if it's been officially announced yet, but in that Sam Hunt car by the New Jersey State Police. They sponsor a car every year at Dover, and the Jersey boy, he's gonna come in. He's gonna run that car for Sam Hunt Racing. And that car is competitive, and those Truex boys know a thing or two about Dover. I love going to Dover. It's one of my favorite race products to watch. Need to clean up the bathrooms in that place, but race product's good. Speaking of Dover, the Concrete Monster Mile, high tire wear, track position, and clean air critical. Could be a rebounding opportunity for the 24 team and for the 48 team and for the 11 team and for everybody who's been getting their ass whipped by the 88. So it could be a big week to come back and get back on the roundy rounds. I hate being in Texas. No good NASCAR anywhere close. It's tough. Texas is kind of in the middle. There's not a lot of middle track. Kansas is a good one. That's not close probably. Dover's one of my favorite tracks, IRL and on the sim. I ran Dover on the sim one time in a stream team race. I went 3 laps down almost immediately, and I haven't run it since. Should tell you the kind of guy I am, I think Dover could be a good chance, though, for, like you said, Frosty, the main cast of characters here in the Cup Series get back in the mix and get themselves grounded again, because we've got another month until we go back to like a road course. So there'll be some good oval opportunities for new winners and for different kind of folks making themselves feel a little bit better after this streak here. I remember watching Sal get dumped in C-class lobbies in my rear view every day. There's a reason you don't see that happening anymore. It's probably because I got dumped all those other times. I got tired of it after a certain amount of time. Hamlin, Larson, Bell are going to start dominating again. Dover's going to be an interesting place to be. And there's going to be focus on SVG at Dover. And it's going to be unfair to SVG because not only is Dover an oval, it is not like any other oval. It is straight up Banana Town. High bank, concrete track. You really need to know how to run this place. It'll be interesting to see how much focus they put on him after all the focus that's been put on him over the last couple of weeks. Yeah, it should be an interesting race. It's going to jumble the bag. I'm interested to see if Ty Dillon can keep riding the bracket momentum at Dover. I don't know what his track record looks like there, but I guess that doesn't really matter anymore. If you're in position to do something to advance, you do it. So Dover's going to be a good show. I'll be there one way or another. I haven't bought tickets yet. Probably should get on that, right? Let's see. Did the homies get back to us? I'm going to try and snag tickets today. Going to try to snag tickets today to Dover. I try to sit up way high. Dover's been a packed house ever since they cut it to one date. Now that they moved it to the end of July, it's really even more packed because we don't have to worry about the rain as much. So, thoughts on Hocevar, and do you think Hocevar has a chance at Dover? I think Hocevar has traditionally he's not a Dover like guy, but I didn't think he was a Sonoma guy, and he was running in the top 5 till the very end at Sonoma this weekend. So I think the 77 team and the whole entire Spire organization has taken leaps and bounds forward. I know this isn't really a direct answer, but it's the best one I can give you. I think that whole organization has taken leaps and bounds forward. Am I a gambling man? Do I want to put money on Carson Hocevar at Dover? Probably not. I think there's drivers who are better than him in terms of, consistent finishes. But, I wouldn't count him out either. The final 4 in the bracket challenge is now Ty Dillon, John Hunter, Tyler Reddick, and Ty Gibbs. I think any of these drivers could win. 3 Ties and a John. What are you going to do? It's going to be spicy. You have to think Reddick and Gibbs that's going to be the battle to watch. John Hunter and Ty Dillon. For me, this is going to be a battle between, at the end of the day, it'll be John Hunter and Tyler Reddick. And you have to think Tyler Reddick goes home with the check based on the rest of the courses we have left in the bracket this year. So, Hocevar's first win coming at Iowa. Take it to the bank. I like that take. I think he runs good on those kinds of courses. We saw Blaney run that track, and he, if you could figure it out, you could dominate there and really be confident. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, the check going to go toward the lawyer fees. It's going to be rough. Speaking of lawyer fees, again, Dover is a situation where 2311 and FRM might be running as open teams. And that will really mess things up for drivers like Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace, who in their contracts, it says you got to run for a chartered team. So it could be a deal, and people are starting to talk about it in the media. I think it's a little early to have the conversation. I do. That teams will make mid-year moves to try to pick up guys like Tyler Reddick because maybe he sits there and says, it's not worth it for me to put my career at risk over this court case. I'm going to go somewhere that I know my ride is locked in, that I know there's a charter agreement signed. I don't think that'll happen, but maybe in the offseason, if things don't get resolved, the narrative will be different and the conversation will be different around what that's going to look like. I mean, Tyler Reddick is a premier driver in this series. He's going to drive in the Cup Series somewhere at a high level. He's a 5 keys player. He's a franchise guy, someone you want to build a program around. So I don't think Bubba would leave this series, but I do think he could change teams just like Reddick could. You have to think, right, so they're protecting their investment over at 2311 and spending a lot of money on this court case. FRM is just kind of along for the ride with them, but they've spent a lot of money to protect themselves and these charters throughout all what's happening. So be interesting to see how far down the rabbit hole they want to go. It seems like they're going to go all the way to the court date in December. All right, let's talk a little bit about The Xfinity Series. I talked a lot about the Cup Series. That was the first hour. Bubba will never find another ride. Why wouldn't Bubba find another ride? I think he would. I think Bubba would have a ride in the Cup Series ahead of a handful of other drivers for sure. FRM definitely the hype, man. I'm happy with Joey getting the top 10 last Sunday, 22-10. He lost respect in 2020 at Talladega. But does that inhibit his ability, though, to drive the car, like for a team and get results? I mean, there's lots of off-track incidents that people get involved with, but it's not, Kyle Larson came back. Like, nobody questioned if he was fit enough to come back based on his reputation. I don't think Bubba goes anywhere. He has great sponsors. He has the right keys to what teams want. It takes time, it takes development, but I don't think anybody's questioning his worthiness to be in the Cup Series based on off-track incidents. Now, could you sit here and say he doesn't have as many wins as he should? Absolutely. He's let races get away from him, and I think he'd sit here and tell you that too. But yeah, it's just I don't see him going anywhere but to another Cup contender. Maybe not a top-tier team, but definitely not. Okay, we're not going to put him in trucks. I don't think that's what's going to happen. How do you think Chase is doing in the 19? I think the 19 is crazy because they've performed almost exactly the same as they have from past years. I mean, Martin ran that car a little harder at the front, but that 19 car has a win this year versus Martin's last year. Unfortunately, no win. That was tough, but 19 looking good to be at least year over year winning a race. I mean, we were talking about Kyle and Bubba off track. That's what we were talking about. On track, it's a very different story. It'd be interesting to see what happens when Corey Heim gets ready to come up. I think that'll be a conversation that people are going to start to have soon. Where will he go? Where will he go? Heim and some of these other Toyota drivers. There are a lot of them, yes. Is Kyle Busch making the playoffs? Kyle Busch is on the bubble. He moved up this week, closer to the middle of the bubble. But let's see. I don't know if that information is correct. Let me look. Let me look. Let me look. Before we say something for sure. So point standings in the Cup Series. Byron, Elliott, Larson, Reddick, Hamlin, top 5. Bell, Blaney, Briscoe, Chastain, and Buescher is your top 10. Logano, Bowman, Bubba, Priest, Kyle Busch is your top 15. So Kyle Busch right on the outside looking in. On the fringe there with a couple others. I think Heim would fit perfectly with Legacy. If they could get a third car, sure. I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to get that third charter to get Heim away from 2311, especially with all the things that are happening over there. So I think Kyle Busch can make it at RCR. I mean, he signed a 1-year extension. I think he's going to retire. You want me to be perfectly honest with you? I think Brexton's getting to an age now where he could go run and be competitive as he's getting older and have fun. He wants to have fun with his son. I think Kyle Busch is going to retire in the next year or two. I don't think there's much longer he has in the Cup Series. So enjoy every Kyle Busch race. It's just my personal opinion. I don't know anything you don't, but When we start signing 1-year extensions, those are usually signals of, hey, I'm not really sure what I want to do. And I know that. You know, I've lived the 1-year extension fan life. So anyway, I know it would be a real shame. Him and Keselowski, probably the next two to hang it up, but yeah, probably the next two to hang it up in the next couple of years, but we'll see. What about Ty Gibbs? Definitely not performing the way he should be. He was good at some of the road courses, but haven't seen him do what he needs to do on the ovals. I want to go back to try to find my notes on the Xfinity series, but they're out of order. So Zilich in the Xfinity series at Sonoma fends off SVG for a dramatic win. This is a deal that's been on its way. Zilich got roughed up a little bit at Chicago. I thought, your teammates, you run each other a little. People were like, that's just hard racing, brother. Oh, okay. That's fine. Okay. That's okay. But now we got the bar. The bar is set. And Connor Zilich knows how hard he can run SVG. And that's what he did here at Sonoma. Nothing really egregious, but just when he got the chance to give himself a little extra room, he did. When he got the chance to dive the corner a little further than maybe he thought he would, he took a chance and went a little further. He did a little extra in the places he needed to push past that I'm a rookie respect barrier. You know what I mean? He wants to make sure he's out there and he's putting on a good show for his team and his owner and his crew. And he's a rookie, so he wants to build this brand of respect and good racing. But he also wants to win races. And sometimes you gotta put the elbow out. And I think he's learning just how far he can stick his elbows out in a race like this. But now this is JRM's 10th win of 2025. They're running away with the team championship. So anything they put in those cars, anybody they put in those cars seems to succeed, which is crazy. But there weren't a ton of other storylines in the Xfinity race besides that battle at the front. There were, who was it? I saw Austin Hill battling and going off. There was the typical yee coming through road course scenarios in that Xfinity race, but they kind of weeded themselves out early. Yeah, the subtle brake checks, just to see if he could check him up, just to slow him up, just to scrooch. So you know what that is too? It's so he doesn't take as hot of a run through the corner on him and bebop around him. That's what I think those little brake check taps were all about. The win for Zilich, though, continues his playoff run. He's now a 3-time winner. He's up here with Allgaier and Hill. Sam Mayer also in the top 5 in points as well. We pull up that Xfinity points schedule, Xfinity points results as well. Again, yeah, Allgaier, Mayer, Hill, Zilich, 1, 2, 3, 4. Jesse Love, 5th in the points as well. So a lot of good. This is the cream of the crop up here at the top of the leaderboard. Carson Kvapil also in 6th. Brandon Jones, Sheldon Creed, Nick Sanchez, and Sammy Smith round out the top 10 in points. So there you have at it. JRM also posted on Twitter a picture of a brick. I don't know if you saw that, but they got a brick on their Twitter. What does that brick mean, guys? What does that brick mean, guys and girls? Somebody's going to have to explain it to me. I think I know what it means. I think I know. There's a Bass Pro Shops logo in the background. I think you're going to see the 40 Bass Pro Shops JRM Cup car at Indy as an open car. I do. I think the writing is kind of on the wall. I think Carson Quapple is going to be the one to run it. Would be wild if MTJ came back for Indy. Would be wild. The sponsor lines up, but all's been quiet on the MTJ front in the since he said he wanted to run a handful of races and then didn't. Who's surprised by that? Nobody who knows. Nobody who's followed Martin in his career. Nobody's surprised. I thought we'd get him at Dover. I thought we'd get a Tricon entry at Dover for the Cup Series. I think we're a little late now. It's Tuesday morning, but I thought we'd get that for Dover. But even if I would have loved to have seen Martin and Ryan run in the Xfinity Series together. Martin in the 20, Ryan in the 26 out there together doing it would have been really cool. But not my choice. I don't get to decide what's fun at Dover. But yeah, really curious to see what JRM is cooking up with that brick tweet. They've got something going on for Indy. Do I have any favorite diecasts? Are we, Dom, are we discussing the Busch Grand National Series? I wish we were discussing the Busch Grand National Series. I wish we weren't. I wish we weren't kidding right now. Do I have any favorite diecasts, like diecasts in my collection or like diecasts in the world that I would like to have? It was pretty funny. I can't read it out loud because TikTok will probably tell me I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing. But in my collection, my favorite diecast is probably... I got a lot of good ones too. Well, not as many as Dom has, but I've got a lot of good ones. I picked it up recently. I think it is my favorite now. So the 2017 Truex Championship win is the most is the prized one. I had been looking for that one for the longest time and finally got a hold of one. But I think my favorite is MTJ has this Busch Series Darlington throwback to the Wrangler number 3. I think that's my favorite one that I have because it's just kind of unique and different. I also have an 88 Car Tomorrow. I love the Car Tomorrow diecast. Any of those are super cool. I have a Bud and a Rainbow Warrior, and those are all really cool too. I don't know. I have a lot of favorites. It's a hard question to answer. All right, now I got to catch up on comments here. Hold on. Zilich is the second coming of Jeff Gordon. He's going to be a monster in 2 to 3 years. I think he is the next wonder kid. The kart experience that he has makes him a killer at road courses, and whatever he can do to figure out ovals in the meantime, he's so young. He has so much opportunity to be that type of dominant racer. I agree 100%. Oh yeah, people have been paying attention to Goodwood. Justin Marks was out there running the 87 car, the Cup car. Mad Mike, the New Zealander, he ran that car too up the hill. Have some folks from work that are out there having a good time. It's a hell of an event to be at, the Goodwood Festival of Speed. Who had the brick posted on Twitter? That was Junior Motorsports had the brick posted on Twitter. Is SVG better than Ambrose, or are these cats just easier to drive than the old Gen 6? I think it's hard to compare from next gen to Gen 6. I don't know if the one is better than the other. I think it's just different. Goodwood's a good time. I mean, it's cool. It's a week long. It's like super cool to be at. It's like a Pikes Peak kind of deal, but it seems much more enthusiast friendly, enthusiast forward, I guess. What is your holy grail diecast either have or want? There's one that I really want. that I can't seem to get a hold of. Taylor has one. It's the Truex 78 all black Furniture Row Denver mattress car. She has the Kentucky win, but that car, that scheme, I don't care where it's from. And then probably the Holy Grail win. The Holy Grail diecast would be the Holy Grail diecast would probably be the anything from Seniors Daytona win from that run would probably be the Holy Grail for me. I try not to look at diecasts as often enough to know what Holy Grail diecasts I want are. Oh, Coke 600 win car. That would be a nice diecast to have. The one where he beat the whole field by like 20 seconds. That car wasn't geeked up at all. That would be a cool one to have. They're hard to find. It's like you Google it and people are holding, like they're sitting in people's basements in boxes. Like they buy them and then like you never get a hold of them again. And it's tough. You sort through Facebook Marketplace and people don't know what they have. And I go on Facebook Marketplace all the time and I look at diecast, like lots of diecasts. People want like thousands of dollars and they don't even know what they have. I don't know. I wish there was like a way. I don't know. I wish there was a way to like buy them in bulk, and I don't know, just to understand what there is in front of you if you have them. The Jeff Gordon T-Rex car from Charlotte, that would be a Holy Grail car too. That car was wild. That All-Star car. How many Truex cars do I have? Martin or Ryan or both? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8. I have his Clash win. I have the 5-hour energy scheme with the red. I have his championship car from 17. I have the brothers Dover wins. I have the Busch car, and I have a Richmond. That was 2018. I have the Gen 6 Richmond playoff win. Yeah. Almost 10 in there. So I would love a Kyle Busch M&M's car. That car tomorrow, M&M's car would be sick. I don't have a Tony Stewart Home Depot one either. I'd like to have that one, like as just an iconic scheme, or even like a Mark Martin 6 with the Valvoline. That'd be cool too. I don't know how this turned into a diecast talk, but I'm glad it did because I want to get one of those I want to get one of those Lionel cases. I think I'd only have it about half full right now, but there's room for expansion and opportunity to have more diecasts in the future. My most recent one was the Kurt Busch's final win, the Kansas one, the what do you call it? The Jordan, the elephant print. So I almost got the Jeff Gordon, like the original. You know how William Byron ran the throwback with the Exalta with the rainbow paint with the strip across the hood there? There was an original one I found on Facebook Marketplace. Somebody was selling one, and it was like an hour drive from me. I was like, "Can you mail it to me?" She's like, "No, local pickup only." And I was like, I don't know if she's still. Maybe I could hit her up and try to swindle a deal. But she had some Kevin Harvick stuff and some Dale Senior stuff as well. But I don't know if she had boxes or anything with them. It's always nice. But am I going to Dover this weekend? Yes, I was just actually texting my buddy now. Try to figure out if we're locking in tickets today. That's the plan. You'll see me there. I always bounce around in my white ATYL Media hat or my Bucky's straw hat, depending on how hot it is. But yeah, we'll be at Dover. Hopefully, that's the plan. I will not be at Wall Stadium this weekend, unfortunately. I have a birthday party, nephew's first birthday party. That's a tough one to miss, you know. Hope if it ends in enough time, maybe I'll head over to the track after. It's the 75th anniversary celebration at Wall Stadium Speedway. Pits will be open to the public for the first hour of the for the first hour. I think they're doing it from 6 to 7. And then they're gonna start the features at 7 o'clock. So that'll be fun at Wall. Yeah, I would love to do something at Dover if people are around. Like a tweet up. Do I have enough people who go to Dover that we could do like a tweet up? My tweet up would have a cooler involved, though. You know, are we going to talk about the Cadillac 1-2 winish at the Sao Paulo 6 hour or what? I have no idea what that is. Those words are just words to me. But America, rah! I love it. Cadillac 1-2, do it. Let's go. Okay. Let's go to the news. Now, I have this interview with Trevor. Now, Trevor's interview with me is an hour long. Now, I'll leave it up to the chat today. Do you want me to play this interview with Trevor live on the stream? Or would you prefer to listen to it on your own time on Spotify? Would you rather stay here chitty-chatty with me? Or would you rather hear this interview with 5 Wide Sports? It's got 4 streams/downloads. So that's good. That's more than it usually gets. The one, let's see. The next most popular one recently was with NASCAR Sky. That one has 9 listens. Listen, we're really breaking the download numbers. It'd be crazy. I want to know who the drivers for Cadillac F1 are going to be next year. You know? I'm 25% of the listeners. ATYL. The interview with Taylor was really good. I have to use some more of those clips. I try to hold on to them and not like use them all, but I have to start using more of them. I am curious who's in the 20 car for JGR this week. It's Brandon Jones. I'm looking for empty holes in the. I'm looking for an empty hole in the Xfinity lineup here to see if MTJ might make a little surprise move on us. So you've got. Where is he? Where are you? 20. What car is that? The 20. They still have Dean Thompson in the 26 for SHR. Or no, 24 car is going to be Ryan Truex this weekend. Okay. So there it is right there. So they're going to field 2 cars this weekend. The 17 doesn't have a driver yet, but is entered. The 35 doesn't have a driver. The 45 doesn't have a driver. The 53 doesn't have a driver yet either. Yeah, I don't know. Couple of open spots here. Nothing though that I would expect to see a surprise appearance. Sergio Perez. Chris got me good. Sergio Perez. What do you think about Daniel Ricciardo joining Cadillac F1? Calling it now, Spire gets rid of Haley and hires Suarez at year's end. That would not stun me. I don't think Justin Haley has lived up to the hype. He is a Hendrick guy, but Hendrick has lots of development guys now, like Day and who's this other kid that's running this weekend? I forget his name. It's going to break my brain to think of it. They have another prospect driver running Xfinity. Maybe that's who that 17 is for. They're just waiting to update the. They definitely tweeted about it. Will I find it? Yeah, Corey Day finished in the back of the pack in the Xfinity Series. Let's see, number 17 team. Follow. Boom, boom. Jake Finch is going to drive the 17 at Dover. That's right. And the Hendrick car is number 17. So that is who I'm thinking of. Raja will make his Xfinity Series season debut as well. That's correct. He was missing off my list that I was reading off of just before. But he'll be there as well. It is a tough track. He runs here every year, I think, at Dover. He's from the DC DMV area, so I think that's why this is a special track for him and his family. They all kind of come up and support him because this is like his home track, I guess. They don't really run. I mean, I think he's from DC. Like Richmond's not close enough to be a home track, so Dover's kind of the next closest thing. DC's a hop, skip, and a jump away from Washington D.C. Appreciate everybody on TikTok though who's following. 8 followers today, just popping up. We're getting close to 5,000 on TikTok. ATYL Media is getting close to 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, by the way. So if you could support that would be wonderful. Speaking of support, here we go. I said I was gonna get to the new partner announcement. Where is everybody? Come here. Where are we? Everybody, get together. Clamor around. Come on. Come. Pay attention. This is the time. You're gonna get something for free. For free. For free. Is everybody here? Everybody's ears are perked up. Yeah, I see people following. That's a good move on your part because you're going to get some free things. It's happening. Okay. Slide Job Sal and the Splash and Dash Morning Show are now officially GridRival partners. And that means when you sign up for GridRival, you have the opportunity to use code SlideJob when creating your account. They will give you 100 free entries to use at your leisure the rest of this year, moving forward with GridRival. So big shouts to GridRival and everyone at ATYL Media, Taylor for helping broker that kind of deal. So that's it. We got GridRival. We're here, man. This is the next big step for what we're going to be talking about on the show. We're going to do like a whole portion, hopefully moving forward, of GridRival picks. You'll see some social content about it. And if you're so inclined, sign up, use code SlideJob. What is GridRival? GridRival is it's a gambling platform, really. But you don't have to real money wager. There's like free fantasy. You can do fantasy leagues as well. No cash involved. So it's a cool deal. I would encourage you to download GridRival and use code SlideJob to check out what it is. It's kind of difficult to understand. They set really good battles for drivers each and every week, and there's some good things. There's some good things that happen on GridRival. Eli is in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who don't know Eli's been around for a long time. Eli, brother, how are you, my friend? It has been far too long. Eli, tell me something. You haven't been on iRacing in months. What chased you away, brother? Because I haven't been on iRacing. I haven't streamed iRacing in a long time. As you can tell, the content has shifted to something else. Because my blood pressure couldn't do it, Eli. Couldn't do it anymore. You're a young man still. I'm an old man. My cardiologist told me no more. I can't take it. C fixed is going to put me in the grave. I'm great. Just graduated, about to start welding school. Hey, there we go, Eli. W's in the chat for Eli. We used to have some good times running races. But yeah, iRacing got a little too silly for me after a while to stream every day. But we had a good time. I don't blame you. It's there's other things that take priority in life. Being a welder is a big deal. Going to school for that's a big deal. That was always something I wanted to learn, like being a car guy, was to do fabrication body work. And that part of that is learning how to weld. And I never had the chance to really mess with it enough. My brain just could never understand it. So somebody asked, what is GridRival? So yes, GridRival is, you can do fantasy in GridRival, where it's like pick'em fantasy, like if I had to compare it, it's like a salary based fantasy. So you get an overall like fake money salary, and then you buy driver contracts for a certain number of weeks in a row, and that's how you play fantasy. So that's one aspect of GridRival. And then GridRival, you can then get your deposit bonus through using code SLIDEJOB, and you can decide, okay, they don't have NASCAR lines available yet for this upcoming week at Dover, but it's early in the week. It's Tuesday. If we were going to talk about F1, right? So Lando Norris, there's currently a promotion on Lando Norris to finish better or worse than 21st in the Belgian Grand Prix. Now, for those of you who know F1, Lando Norris is a better than 21st position driver. So you would absolutely bet better or worse. So that's kind of the difference in GridRival versus other traditional books, is they have these lines catered to motorsport, not just, win first, second show. It's not like horse racing like it is on other platforms. So GridRival's doing something unique and different for race fans in particular. So that is something that I find super, super helpful when I want to get a little action on the side here for motorsports. So they are new with us. We are new with them. When the NASCAR picks become available for Dover, I will do a video on my GridRival picks. Hopefully weekly, you will get Sal's GridRival picks. I don't know if I can stand up to my man Trevor with him balancing on tires and stuff. We're going to come up with something creative. I have this phone, right? I've been wanting to use this phone for a long time. I think I'm going to do those videos where, how like people talk to themselves in different clothes, like there's some very popular creators out there that do it. But I think I'm going to try. I'm going to do the phone talk. I'd like to get another race phone, I bought this at a thrift store for $10. And I'd love to do it where I'm talking to myself on the phone. I think that would be very cool to do GridRival promos every week, become known as the race car phone guy. I think that'd be kind of unique. So we'll see. But as those lines become available, you'll see more from me on GridRival and about what you can do. If you can't online gamble in your location, again, it's not like they'll let you download the app and be a part of these fantasy leagues as well. So as they become more available, you'll still be able to reap the benefits of having that match from using the creator code. The creator code also helps Sal. So even if you don't use it, and you want to support Sal in a unique and different way, where it's, do you want to sit, for those of you who've been around Sal long enough, I never ask for gifts or donations on live streams. That's not something that I'm here for. But if you do want to support Sal and you go, okay, yeah, I'm going to use this maybe for fantasy, or it's not available for me. No matter what, if you sign up, it's a good nod for Sal. So if you have the opportunity, even if however you choose to use it, GridRival code SLIDEJOB is going to help me. It's going to help you. And even just to understand too, I find it very interesting to sit back and kind of see what, hey, there you go. We love it. Thanks, Frosty. I really love to see how sports books are evolving to cater to motorsports fans as motorsports becomes more popular especially in the United States. I think people have been putting wagers on F1 and other motorsport series for a long time in Europe and other places, but you don't hear people talking about betting on NASCAR. So that's right. Robert's going to be running the SLIDEJOB Sal sticker on his fire suit and on his mini stock. I always confuse the series name. It's a mini stock or a micro stock. They're very similar. They're very similar. But I'm going to go out there, I think, on the 27th. I think I'm going to go see the car. I think I'm going to do it. As long as I don't have anything micro stocks. I know it because I announced them at the Garden State Classic, and I can never remember. But I still can't remember because they call this 6 different. It's like street stocks and factory stocks. There's the same thing. July 27th, yes, the Splash and Dash Morning Show will be represented on the fire suit and on the car in the Wall Stadium micro stocks. So that'll be a cool thing. Going to try to come out and see it with my own two eyeballs. Maybe get a fire suit and a helmet for myself. That's my next social media campaign, is to, get into a race car. I've never raced in a race. I've never raced. Go-karts. That's about the closest thing. Like at the amusement park. K1. K1's about the highest level of actually racing. I did go-kart, like a off-road go-kart for a while. That wasn't like racing, but I used to just go rip around in the woods. Almost got into junior dragsters, drag racing as a kid. Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, though. So, what does that mean? But otherwise, that's been really it. So I'm really interested in trying to do something just to have the experience. I feel like that's like one of the last boxes to check for me in my racing, like fandom / media career side, See, I'm down to travel a little bit. If I get some time off and I know that I can do it, I would do it. They do one at Dover, but it's extremely expensive. And the track for me isn't big enough to like make me feel like I went fast in a NASCAR car. I did go-karts at Trackhouse, the Motorplex too. That place is super cool in North Carolina. Charlotte and Daytona are like the ones that I want to do. Duke is back. Duke is also a GridRival partner now. There's a few of us here at ATYL that are doing GridRival things. But again, if you sign up using code SLIDEJOB, that'll help Sal. So thank you. It includes coaching. Coaching is the thing I need the most. Even on iRacing. Eli was always my coach on iRacing. Eli, you're off from break. You're on a break from welding school. What do you think? You want to do some iRacing coaching for me? GridRival, baby. This is it. We're here. We're locked for GridRival. Duke, we should do some collaborative content. I'm going to put that in the Slack. Maybe we come up with some collaborative content ideas to promote GridRival. Maybe we do that. Maybe my little car phone idea works. Maybe it's just collaborative posts. Different creators all working together. I haven't run Yes Car. I should. GridRival wrap for Yes. If somebody makes me a GridRival wrap for iRacing, I'll run it. We could be actual GridRivals. How fun would that be? That would be cool. An ATYL / GridRival car with our names on the back, and we could be GridRivals. Duke's going to have to check up, though, to make it look competitive for the social clips, because Duke is far and away the better iRacer out of the two of us. Unless it's at a super. Me and Duke have had good times on Talladega and Daytona together. We always used to run good together in the Stream Team races. Until one of us inevitably got wrecked because we were always slicing through the field. But yeah, so that's kind of the wrap for me. Not the wrap for the day, but the wrap for me on the Cup and the Xfinity Series this week. I am really amped up to see what Dover has to offer. Seeing Ryan Truex come back is going to be really cool in the Xfinity side. Seeing what SVG does on an oval now, it's such a drastic change from road course racing, the dominance he's had now back to an oval, and not just any oval. I will be at Dover this weekend, so I haven't had a ton to say about the TNT broadcasts of the Cup races. I'm not sure if people have opinions on the broadcasting. I know a lot of folks maybe aren't so jazzed up about their post-race conversations. I have some opinions about TNT. For the time being, I'm going to keep them to myself, just because I want to see how they evolve the broadcast. I think there's some opportunities for them to take the pieces and put something together. And they already have shown that as they've gone week over week, but I'm going to keep my lip zipped. And that's exactly the point. How difficult is it to follow an Amazon broadcast like the ones that we got, right? It's not fair for me to sit here and now dump on TNT after what Amazon gave us. So Dover, the oval coaster. If it wasn't the Monster Mile, that's what they should call it. Literally just, you'd never think. Like that dip driving uphill out of a turn, like if you're running the bottom line and then drifting up to the outside to the wall at Dover, is frightening. I don't know how guys do it. You got to be super confident that that car's got all the grip you need and you're not pushing it harder than you can handle. Oh, I didn't know there was an app for this now. I'm learning a lot of things. See, like now I'm looking at GridRival and I'm just like, I wonder when the lines open for NASCAR. They're not available yet. They're paused at the moment. I guess because Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, probably Wednesday, they'll come up Wednesday or Thursday, I would imagine. But I do think GridRival is like the future of motorsports wagering. But they even have okay, hold on, stop. They even have like a learn tab. So if you go onto GridRival, you can go to the top left corner above the hot picks button and click learn, and it will walk you through exactly what you can do on GridRival. So that's my last GridRival plug for today. But expect to see some GridRival content from Sal moving forward. Sal, we're running YesCar 3D Lite tonight. Trucks alternating Daytona and Dega. What's today? Wednesday? No, today's Tuesday. Where's my Discord? Am I in the YesCar Discord? Ooh, Dover got a new pylon. Breaking news 12 minutes ago. Am I in the YesCar? I am in the YesCar Discord. Have I looked at it? There's 141 new mentions, and I have looked at none of them. So, yeah. There's a lot of threads in here. Server requires members with moderation to have multi-factor authentication. Blah, 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 blah. Let me scroll up here. I'll have to look in here. You have a lot of threads in here. YesCar news and notes, rulebook, general chat. Truck series schedule, truck chatter. A lot of things in here. A lot of things in this Discord, but I'll have to look. I have not looked. It's there, but I haven't looked. Shootout start at 10. Maybe that's something we do tonight. I haven't iRace in a long time, especially in a hosted. I do a handful of the officials once in a while, but it's not something that I've made a regular part of my life like I used to. So. Ooh, also some news on the EV stuff. Adam Stern reports as the sales of EVs in North America continue to grow, I think NASCAR needs to be prepared to look at that as an option for a series down the road. It may be 5 years down the road, it may be 15 years down the road, but our world is always changing. That's a quote from not Adam Stern. Who's it from? Who's the quote from? I'd imagine it's from Steve Phelps. And they want me to pay for the San Francisco Chronicle, so that's the end of that. But there's a quote there. There you go. 5, 10, or 15 years down the road. I can tell you for a fact, though, I don't know whose quote that is. And I'm not going to, EV sales are not what they were 2 years ago. So I can say that with real confidence, working for the association that builds the market reports for the industry. I can say with pretty good level of experience that EV sales over the next 5, 10, 15 years, whatever you think they may be. I don't know. Not to get like too off the rails, but like EV sales are only going to happen. Consumers will only buy EVs if they're one of two things: more affordable than ICE vehicles. Oh, three things: more affordable, similar network of charging, and if the government provides them a pathway to do so or forces them to do so. That is really the only way you will get EV sales jumps. So, in my opinion, again, all this is opinion based. Sal's a pro yapper. I'm all pro, 6-time all pro yapper. I am the LeBron James of NASCAR yap. I could sit here and talk to myself for 2 hours. just yapping away. Yappity yap, 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 yapperoo. All right, we're going to play the interview. I don't think there's another show behind me here on ATYL, so I don't see anything in the upcoming tab on YouTube because we're going to go over our time, and I never like to do that, but I will do it if we all want to listen to this interview from Trevor. So let me pull this up. Nope, it's going to give me a problem. Hold on one second, please. Local video. We're going to do it right here. We're going to pull that up. All right, good morning. Sorry. So on ATYL channels, you can catch a glimpse of this interview. And then TikTok's going to yell at me. This is what they do. They love to yell at me because it's reproduced content. This is a new thing on TikTok where if you, for those of you who create content or do anything on here, if you post something or you show something on stream that is not original, there it is. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results because it contains unoriginal or reproduced content. This is in line with our For You feed credibility standards and under our For You feed eligibility standards under our community guidelines. So I have on TikTok the stream of me on stream from the other source. So it's me twice, and it knows that it's not me original. So it is aggravating. It is annoying to try to just show an interview that is original content that I create with 5 Wide with Trevor, and it still gets dinged. So if you feel so inclined, please share the live. Please share it on TikTok or on Facebook or on YouTube or on Twitter. Share it with your friends because I hate when this happens and we get like sent to the shadow realm. So it was really great. Trevor and I actually did this one twice. It took, he had some issues with his camera the first time around, but I think it's really great to have the double conversation because we were so much more comfortable with one another. So Trevor's a really great guy. He works really hard to do what he does at 5 Wide, to build those montages and those like retro nostalgia throwback pieces. He also works with GridRival and creates original content for them. He does radio appearances in his local market in Kentucky. He's got some great stories about Jeremy Mayfield and being from Owensboro. Great dude, loves the sport, is really getting entrenched. He's got a lot of great followers on social media. You probably know him already, but thought it was a good opportunity to kind of show the face behind the keys in this interview. So my agency told me that my sponsor gifts are triggering the untra. See, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't get that. Like the age, like why would I? It's not I don't get why TikTok would make it such an issue, but it wouldn't be the first time that they've made things an issue that don't need to be. Anyway, the interview is an hour and change long. So be aware if you're ready to listen to this, it's like a podcast. Lock in. We'll have a little party here you guys can enjoy, and we'll keep on rolling here today. Hold on. This is not right. I need to hide this. That needs to go there. This needs to go here. See how this is a mess, right? You'd think I would have this all figured out by now, but there are certain requirements that require me to do it manually like this. I don't love that, but it's part of the deal. Anyway, away we go. Enjoy. Hey everyone, we are back with another edition of Hot Lap Yap, the interview series portion of the Splash and Dash Morning Show. I am here. Jeez Louise. Hold on. After long last with Trevor from 5 Wide Sports.
What's up?
If you get sports in your feed on social media, you've seen 5 Wide Sports. You know 5 Wide Sports. You've seen these edits and been a part of this content. So it's dope that you're here, man. Thank you for cutting some time out for us today to kind of just chop it up and learn more about what you do and why you do and how you got to where you are. Because I've seen your content in my feed forever, before my time at ATYL, before anything. So tell me a little bit about you, man. What got you into the whole motorsports space and then eventually content and doing what you do?
Well, man, we've been going for about 6 or 7 years now. Started over on YouTube like most of the creators, and started with little like 30 for 30 documentaries over there, and Um, Worked our way over to Instagram, is where we're kind of based out of now, and having a good time over there with some edits, some nostalgic posts, and like you said, you've probably seen them. You might not know my name, but I know you've probably seen that content if you're in the NASCAR space.
So you do a lot of the montages and the vintage stuff. I've seen a lot of your like carousel content where you're going through like different track facts and stats. That's a lot of the recent stuff. I mean, you said you've been at this for 6, 7 years, so I'm sure it's all gone through many different iterations, different versions of what you've done. Where'd the montages come from? Was that just like, hey, I think this is dope, and I'm gonna cut some video up, or like they're pretty next level. Like you were just doing them for funsies.
I was just doing it for funsies, man, and yeah, I really like the way that they turned out. And then you know, other drivers started finding them and messaging me and saying, "Hey, can you do one of me?" Like some Cup drivers, some Xfinity drivers, and um, that I just kept doing it for them, and uh, I started making friends in the NASCAR space with the drivers, doing that, and it's just kind of grown from there.
Well, that's really dope. I mean, that's cool that guys are gonna reach out to you and be like, "Hey, I like this. Do this. Could you make one for me?" Um, who's been somebody that you've been able to connect with, or on the motorsports side of it, that has kind of surprised you or has reached out to you that you've been like, "Wow, I can't believe they saw that."
Oh man, I think one of the first guys that reached out to me was Noah Gregson. Super cool guy, just hit me up out of nowhere and told me how awesome my content was, and that meant a lot to me. Guys like Carson Osavar and Parker Kligerman, guys like that. There's a few other. Leland Honeyman is a cool one too. He's a really cool guy over in Xfinity. So several of them I haven't named, but man, those are the ones that really have stuck with me.
That's dope. Those are like the new guard too. Like you said, Leland Honeyman, Carson Hocevar, Noah Gregson, Parker Kligerman. Those are all young guys that coming
Yeah.
up in the sport in their respective areas. That's the kind of stuff you love to hear is supporting that kind of stuff because it's just like I said, it's just that passing of the guard now where it's the new generation and this kind of content I feel like resonates with them and with everyone else out there. That's why you're out here cooking, doing so many different things online. Um, what so I don't know, like what keeps you going with it? Like you just wake up every day and you're like, yeah, let me chop this up. Like what's the motivator
Yeah.
behind all of this?
The motivator behind all of this, I'm still looking for the motivator. Still looking for like the main goal. I think all of our goals in this space are to get to the racetrack every week.
Yeah,
Um
couldn't
and
agree more.
be properly credentialed and feel like we belong. But as for like planning out my days and what I'm going to do next, I really am just I wait till something hits me and I go do it. I really don't plan too far in advance with
I feel like
this
that's a
kind of
good
thing.
way.
Yeah.
When you're in the shower or on the toilet,
The shower
you
is the
know,
best place. Like
something about the bathroom. I don't know what it is.
mhm,
That the best ideas come in the bathroom.
absolutely.
Um, you talk about getting to the track and being a part of the credentialed media. Were you a fan first? Is that how this all worked for you before the video stuff? You grew up watching racing and you come from a racing background, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, definitely a fan first. Like my earliest memory was I'm from Owensboro, Kentucky. We've got several famous drivers from that town. Um, Guys like the Waltrips, Jeremy Mayfield, Jeff Green, David Green, Mark Green, and then like Supercross legend Nikki Hayden, and all the Haydens. So definitely motorsports is something that I grew up with, and really my earliest memory was the 2001 Daytona 500. Unfortunately, was Michael Waltrip winning, and just my whole house and everybody just going nuts. Like this Owensboro kid that was 0 and
Yeah.
462 or something like that, finally gets the win. And then obviously what happened after that was unfortunate, but um, yeah, earliest memories were definitely Michael Waltrip. And then I sort of rebelled against the family. The family were big Earnhardt fans. You know, I grew to love the man, but um, I was definitely a Jeff Gordon kid.
I feel like a lot of households were like that though, where like, mom and dad were Earnhardt fans, and then, son or daughter was a Jeff Gordon fan in the early 2000s. It was just that kind of new generation, the Wonder Kid era, the Rainbow Warrior. I mean, they did a great job marketing that car to young fans with rainbow paint colors on it. I don't know. And he won a lot of races, which was fun for young kids to be winning all the time.
That was the
Um,
funnest.
yeah, I mean, my dad was an Earnhardt guy, and then he was also a big Mark Martin guy, which I know you've crossed paths with Mark Martin a few times as you've gone through your content journey. He seems like just the dopest guy. Like when I think Mark Martin, I think the Valvoline 6 car, and I think about Gucci Mane, and I'm like, those
Yes.
are two things I never would associate like together. And then with Mark Martin at the same time. So, like, is he as cool of a dude? Like, he seems like he's really invested in the sport when I hear him talk online and on radio shows and things like that. He seems like he's just super invested in the sport and just wants to see it, thrive however he can kind of give his 2 cents and be a part of it. Like, what has your experience with him been like?
Oh man, I mean, Mark Martin personally, I don't really know him like that, but we definitely shared a few messages, and he interacts with all my content. He interacts with a lot of people's content, which is very important in my opinion. But
Yeah.
um, he is very he's not behind. That man is ahead of the curve, and his son Matt runs the Mark Martin archive page, keeps his his legacy alive, and shares content every day. So we did like a little collaboration about a week ago with some legendary photos, and I thought it was awesome, and awesome that they let me do that. And they're actually in the middle of writing a book for Mark, so I'm excited to
Oh,
read
okay.
that. I think Jeff Gordon is gonna do a what do you call it, like a
Like
forward
yeah, yeah.
into one of the last chapters. I think that they're working on that right now. So
That's really cool. It's always cool to hear those like stories of the drivers of their lives. I mean, I don't know. I recently had the chance to cross paths with Ray Evernham, and he had a book too. And I started kind of digging into his story. He's from my area, and his history with not just the success he had at like the highest level in the Cup Series, but throughout his career doing different things. It's interesting to kind of learn about these people. Like you said, you don't really get to know them personally. Then you kind of read about their lives, and it gives you kind of a different look into what they were all about, which is kind of cool. Which is cool. That's what autobiographies and those kinds of things are for. But in our world, in our industry, the motorsports industry in general, it feels like most of the people are regular people with
mhm.
extraordinary opportunity. So it's cool to hear them react to those situations in life.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. Like with a guy like Mark Martin, the older I get, I touched on being a Jeff Gordon fan as a kid, and then when your guy retires, like, how do you pick a new driver? And then
Oh,
it's
this
really
is the battle.
yeah.
This is the question that everyone asks themselves as they get older.
Yeah, so you'll pick your favorite driver, but um, the older you get, it's really for me, it's been determined on who uh, treats me right or is good to me, or guys that will reach out to me and things like that. That's how I pick my drivers now, and um, guys that I never thought would be some of my favorite drivers are. Uh, it's kind of weird how that works out.
Yeah, I mean, you said you were a Waltrip fan growing up, and how has that kind of shifted for you? Because you do a lot of content about a lot of drivers, so it's hard. I feel like I talked to Taylor and people at ATYL about this, and it's like we try not to like wear our favorite driver on our sleeve. It's easier if that driver's retired, like for me,
Yeah.
literally
What?
wearing
I was about to say, what are
my
you wearing right
favorite
there?
driver on my sleeve.
Little
You know, they
Truex.
retired. Yeah. I mean, once they move on to
Mhm.
the next phase of life, it's like, okay, you know. But have you who is your guy right now?
Oh man, it's gonna disappoint a lot of people, but I'm still just as rebellious as I was when I chose the rainbow car. Um, definitely since Jeff Gordon retired, I am a big Logano guy.
Okay. All
Big,
right. No judgment here.
big
Yeah.
Logano guy. Sorry about the Martinsville thing.
Oh, I don't know if I've even been able to rewatch that clip in the last however many years. It's tough. It's tough shake. Gave
Yeah,
us a tough shake.
it did.
I don't know. I don't know. No, I feel like the older you get, the more you learn to. I've learned to like appreciate Logano. I didn't appreciate the Martinsville thing, but I've learned to appreciate his driving style
Absolutely.
overall. Him and like Kyle Busch and some of those other drivers that when I was growing up, like you watch them and you're like, Jesus, no, please stop these guys, stop them from wrecking my driver. You know, but then I think you learn as you go along what they're all about. How'd you land on Logano? Like
Oh
rainbow,
man.
yellow, Shell Pennzoil, like the gravitating force in your fandom? What was that?
I think that it just felt very similar to the beginning of Jeff Gordon. Um, how young he was and all the weight on his shoulders. He didn't obviously perform the way Jeff performed in the early Rainbow Warrior years, but he came on strong, and I think a big turning point. You know, I when Logano first came in, I really didn't like him much around '09, 10 into the Cup Series, but ironically enough, 2012 Pocono, um, pretty much the kid's job's on the line, and he has to go and boot Mark Martin out of the way. You know, the guy, you know, he was Mark Martin's protege. Mark Martin's the reason why he's here. And Logano, you can look at this five different ways, but Logano doing that, you know, I think it showed that he had a lot of balls, and um, to do that to the nicest guy, Mark Martin, you know,
Yeah,
I just kind of liked it. You know, a lot of people hated on him for it, but you got to see where he was coming from. I mean,
yeah.
you got to do it. I mean, you know, people say they'd wreck their own mom to win a race. I mean, but Logano
There's a
went
lot of
out there
guys
and
like that.
yeah, I mean, Logano went out there and pretty much showed it. I mean, you know,
There's a lot of guys who say it, and then there's when the opportunity comes, they might not do it. But he's definitely one that is not. I don't think he's really ever shied away from. I need to move this person to win, or I need to go to this place that others won't to win, or try to win. And I think that's part of what makes him super unique. That's why he's a three-time champion, though, because he takes those chances. Um, you know.
absolutely, yeah.
So you talk about how Logano is kind of your guy and that process of getting there, how he's a young guy and he's coming up, and he kind of gave you that Jeff Gordon kind of vibe as he was kind of scratching and clawing his way up through. Um, is there a driver that you hold near and dear that you haven't had the chance to work with that you'd like to?
Oh man, that's a good question because you know the guys that make me want to work with them, uh, you know, are the guys I do work with, are the guys that reach out, and which in turn makes me want to work with them. So, probably Mark Martin. Honestly, like I would love to do something with Mark Martin, do some kind of show or podcast or something with him. Other guys, you know, there's a weird name like Jeremy Mayfield.
Hell yeah,
You
brother.
know, Owensboro kid. You know, I know some of his family here. He's definitely got some good stories. I would love to do something with him. And we might soon in the future. Um,
He's been doing interviews again. I saw a Motor Stardom post,
yeah,
I believe, and they did like a podcast. I hadn't seen him be a guest on a podcast in quite a while.
yeah. Besides the Dale Jr. download a couple years ago. Yeah.
I remember when that one came out, and it felt like he was starting to kind of make this media comeback a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew he had still been racing places. And I don't know. I grew up, I remember watching Jeremy Mayfield in that commercial, that Dodge commercial, where the lady's putting oil in the bubble bath.
Yep.
Like that is what I remember Jeremy Mayfield. That and the race at Pocono where he just wanted to rattle his cage a little bit.
Yeah, people went
You
crazy for
know,
Michael Waltrip winning. People went real crazy when that happened here, and everybody here
yeah,
were Arnard fans, so it was
yeah.
a very weird time in Owensboro when Jeremy Mayfield knocked him out of the way.
That had to be crazy. That's got to be wild to have him be from the hometown. I feel like when guys are from the hometown, there's no choice. Like you have to support them a little bit to some extent because one of the locals made it one way or another. That's something special.
Absolutely, yeah. It was it's been the Waltrips are like the two guys people talk about here, but they don't come around much. I've never met either one of them, so I would love to meet one of those two guys or both of those guys at some point. But they are hard to get a hold of. I've tried.
They a lot of these guys are tough to get a hold of, especially after they retire and they don't have as many like sponsor obligations or places to go and places to see, people to see. I mean, Michael, I he hangs out at the breweries he owns a lot, but I think that's right in your backyard.
It's not. I think the closest brewery is probably like 5 or 6 hours away.
Have you ever been?
No. I thought about going when we were up in Nashville a couple weeks ago, or down in Nashville. Um, there's one not too far from there. I don't know. I don't exactly know where they are. Um, I think we'll get out there soon. He actually had a few kiosks around Nashville,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
I did try the Talladega Light. It's pretty good.
It is pretty good. Talladega Light is what fueled my last trip to Bristol, because they have one of those breweries right in town in Bristol there as you're getting close to the track, and
Yeah,
it's like okay, pack a cooler. Um, so you said you were in Nashville this year for the race.
yeah.
I heard a lot of good things about Nashville and that facility and that track.
Mhm.
I'm not close enough to go to that race like by car, but it's becoming for me as someone from the Northeast one of these tracks that looks like it's one you have to put on the bucket list. What was your experience like there? How'd the racing look up close?
It was great, man. Like, in my experience at racetracks, unless you're going to a place like Bristol, like this was such a great viewing experience on being able to see the entire track. Like, no matter where you sat, the backstretch is so close, like, and there's not too much obstructing. You could see all the way around the track, no problem, pretty much no matter how low you sat, unless you're like down by the fence. But you know, I think staff was good. Lines were smooth. Parking was easy and free where we parked. Everything was great. I mean, I think like I give it like an 8 or 9 out of 10. I
Okay.
think the only thing that we tried out some seats off of turn 4 and into turn 1. Those they have some like high school bleachers out there. I don't
Yeah.
suggest, but if you're in the main grandstand, it's really nice. We actually sat down there in the main grandstand and watched the truck race with Carson Hocevar. Uh,
Oh, that's dope.
yeah, it was pretty cool. I saw that he posted that he was sitting in the stands, and I was out there because of Spire. They got me down at the race, and yeah, and I hit him up and I said, "Hey, what section are you in?" And he sent me a message, told me what section, and I went over there and we hung out, watched the rest of the race, and watched his teammate Raja win the race. So that was pretty cool. He was pretty hype about that one because that was his pit crew that actually got Raja out front and got him that win.
That's dope. That was a great weekend too. Like
It
to
was.
watch from home, the action was like that truck race was one of the best truck races I watched this year. I mean, I'm a big Raja guy. I got Raja on my wall back here somewhere. Um, got to be cool, especially to have that experience with Carson. I remember seeing Jeff Gluck sitting up there with him too.
Yeah,
So
Jeff Gluck, yeah, was
that's
actually
cool.
sitting right there. I was talking to Carson, and then I was like, "Hey, man, we got to get a picture together." And then Jeff Gluck, I didn't even realize Jeff Gluck was standing there, and he goes, "Oh, I'll take it for you," which was pretty cool. Jeff Gluck snapped a picture of all of us, and And yeah, it was pretty cool. That was my first time meeting Jeff actually. And then that next day, Saturday, I actually, had a long conversation with Jeff about um, you know, like an initiative for creators to get credentialed.
Yeah,
And I think, Taylor had inquired about this as well pretty heavily. And, I checked on it and he actually referenced, I'm assuming he was talking about her, a content creator that was pushing for something like that. But,
probably.
Jeff seemed pretty disappointed that things haven't moved as quickly as they should.
Yeah. I've heard things here and there about that, and it's like this new media kind of deal that they want to have folks come in and be creators and represent the sport. Um, I don't know if they've done any more. There's been any more conversation about it recently since Nashville. Nashville's, we're going back a little bit, but
Mhm.
um, I know that a lot of the teams are starting to do it where they utilize they're utilizing their like VIP passes that they get at the track weekly to bring in content creators that way. Now
Yeah.
you're not officially credentialed that way. Like you're not going to get all the media, bells and whistles that you normally would with a like a vest or like something from NASCAR. But that's one way they're trying to kind of skirt around it. Um,
Yes, and that's how we're getting to the tracks. Me, and then I usually have a cameraman. Uh,
yeah.
yeah. So, I think Carson got me in to the last one because he, saw my stuff and really thought I deserved to be there. And then, we got to watch the race with him, and Noah's got me in as well several times, and some other drivers. Um, and those teams are really good guys to be able to do that. And they understand how hard the credentialing process is. So
Yeah, it's definitely one that not only is it difficult, but it's difficult to understand what they want. And I've talked to people, and it's like I don't know. I know there's a handful of folks who are pushing for it internally,
yeah,
but I'm not sure they're able to make those decisions all on their own. So I'm sure there'll be more conversation about it. I hope that it goes beyond just what the teams are doing, but what the teams are doing is awesome.
mm,
But I hope there's something a little easier for the teams and for the creators. I don't know if they'll be inviting my ass down to the track, but it would be cool to just see people out there doing doing something in an official capacity.
yeah,
And a lot of journalists that are credentialed now, like Jeff Gluck, he's a journalist first, but he's in a lot of content. That
mm,
is the new journalist medium. Is he goes and does the teardown. The teardown is a podcast. The teardown gets clipped up into social clips. The quotes from the teardown get put on T-shirts. There's accounts that out there that take what Jeff and Jordan say and make funny montages about it. Like there's
oh, which ones are you
there's
referencing?
dude, that guy gets them every week too.
Yeah, good
Um,
guy, by the
but
way, good guy.
I've never met him. I mean, he's got a lot of time. I'd love to know. I should hit him up and see if I can talk to him too, because I'd
You
love to know
probably could. I think you
where the
probably,
idea
yeah,
came from. Is got to be crazy.
yeah, definitely chatted with him a few times. Good guy, good guy.
I know he wears this shirt
He
all over
does.
the
Some of my
place.
friends have the post race clarity shirts. They wear to the track. So
So it's so funny. I don't like. It's like okay, yeah. It's like
yeah,
it's like
sometimes I
sick.
think, obviously we haven't said the name of the creator, but you could probably figure it out. But sometimes I think that these commentators and drivers um, are trying to make the montage.
I think they are now. I think now that it's become more popular, they definitely lean into certain things that maybe they would stop themselves from saying.
Yeah,
They just keep on.
like I know you're trying to get in that montage. There's
Yeah,
no way.
I want to get tagged in that video at the end of this week. That's crazy, but it's funny and it's fun to see that kind of content. Like it's not doesn't have to be super serious. It doesn't have to be super buttoned up. That's something that like especially in motorsports and in general, I feel like, there's like F1 and that's like super, like shirt and tie and it's
Yeah,
very, everybody thinks got to be real, real official. But that's a unique opportunity we have as American motorsports fans, is that we don't have a lot of like, let's be very official. You know, you walk into the grandstands at, I was at Pocono a couple of weeks back. You know, there's no, people got their shirts off. They're cranking beers all day.
Yeah.
Like this isn't Westminster Abbey. This isn't, you know, we're not like, oh, very pinky out for our racing event.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different vibe. I mean, my shirt stays on my body at all times, but anyway, it's, you know, there's a different feel, and you can kind of have different types of content to match those feels in the audience. So I hope they get somewhere with it. I hope
I
they
think
do.
they
Taylor's been
will.
banging on that door for a long time.
Yeah, she's probably gonna be the best one we got to go out there and get it for.
If she's the advocate for showing them that it works, send her now.
Yeah,
Go.
absolutely.
What? So you mentioned being at the track and trying to get to the track like every week, hopefully, in this beautiful system of creating content for the sport. What tracks have you been to? What's your favorites?
Oh man, I mean, I haven't been to as many as I would like, but I think for like a from like a fan perspective, I really like Indianapolis. There's
Okay.
so much to do. Like you could walk forever inside that track and stuff outside the track. And Nashville was great. I mean, from like sitting there and watching the race, like Nashville was probably the best. Um, Bristol is loud, man.
Ooh.
I love it, but it is loud and it takes a toll on you after a whole weekend. Um, I'm probably just gonna go the easy route and say Talladega. I think it's got
Ah,
all of those things.
it's tough to beat Talladega.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I honestly haven't had my true infield experience. Last time, well, one of the last times I went to Talladega was I actually my best friend had a +1 to meet Jeff Gordon. So I had never met a NASCAR driver before. So this was like 10 years ago. Um, and he said, "Hey, like I got a +1 to meet Jeff Gordon. You got to be here tomorrow, though." So I get off work, like we're in a pizza joint. My family had a pizza joint, so I'm covered in flour and dough and whatever. And I jump in my truck and I drive 7 hours straight to Talladega through the night. I get there at 6 a.m. and we're meeting Jeff Gordon at 8 a.m. I've never been to Talladega. Okay. So I meet Jeff Gordon. I'm still covered in flour. Like, I get a one-on-one with Jeff Gordon. He signs a couple things, and I'm like, Jeff kept calling the restaurant was called Brick House, and I had a Brick House shirt on. He kept calling me Brick House.
That's awesome.
And
Covered in
yeah,
flour.
and they were like, this is my hero. And by the way, all of your heroes are a lot shorter in real life. Okay,
I love that.
Jeff's a great guy, but man,
Not as tall as they made him look on TV.
exactly, yeah. Um, yeah, when they were doing the group photos for the whatever they were doing, they made me stand behind everybody because I was the only one not wearing Jeff Gordon merch. I'm just wearing a pizza shirt, like dirty. I'll have to find that picture and send it.
Did you tell him the story of why you were still covered in
I
flour?
did. He was calling me
Okay.
Brickhouse. I was like, "Yeah, man, I got off work and drove here to see you."
Like
Like, dude's already
through the
heard
night.
like 500 stories a day. He does not care about my story, but
That's funny. I mean, enough to call you Brick House is
yeah,
pretty
he
good.
did sign my hat and took some good pictures with me. So
That's funny, man.
yeah, man, nice guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the other part of it is, you know, they tell you don't meet your heroes for other reasons besides maybe they don't come up to the height
Yeah,
expectation. But I don't know. I've had good experiences meeting my heroes for quote unquote, you know, for the most part.
yeah,
I think it's all about like for me, it's all been about the situation. I got the chance to meet Kevin Harvick one time
yeah,
and Kyle Busch one time in the garage kind of area at Dover. But these are, you know, they're like going somewhere.
yeah.
Like they need to be
Yeah.
out on the grid. So
But
it's
how
not like
was
you're going to
that?
get the time.
What, bad
It was
experience?
cool.
Bad experience
It
with them
was
though,
like
or good?
it was good. It was just like a hey, hi, how are you?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not like a hey, let's chit chat. Hey, and they go hey, and then you know, I've met Kurt Busch before. He's a cool dude. He spends a lot of time stopping and talking, especially like sponsor activations. Um, I everywhere I happen to run into, I just run into him places now.
yeah.
It probably says more about me drinking Monster Unleashed
Oh yeah.
at the track that I shouldn't be drinking because he's always at those activations. So,
Well, what about
um,
your main hero though, Martin
oh,
Truex?
I did get the chance to meet Martin Truex
Yeah.
Jr. at New Year's Eve party this past year.
Okay.
You know, he showed up a little later than the rest of the crowd naturally, so Sal was a little juiced up, but super nice guy.
Good.
His other half, she I guess like saw how like speechless Sal was because I've been watching Martin Truex since like 2000. When did he go into the Busch Series? Like Busch
Oh
Series
man,
days.
like we're talking like '03 or
Oh,
something.
three when he was in the one car and in the 56 car. That's
Yeah.
how long it's been going on. So it's like, yeah, she was super cool. She saw that Sal couldn't get the words out of his mouth. She was like, "Let's all take a picture." And I was like, "Thank God for this sweet woman who's gonna save me right now from missing this opportunity." So,
Good.
and I don't know, that was a really fun experience. He had a big smile on his face too, which is, you know, seeing Martin Truex Jr. smile in his final year of Cup racing was like seeing a shooting star.
Yeah.
So,
He
it
was
was
getting that
cool
Paul
to.
Menard thing going on.
Oh man, I thought his face was just gonna be permanently like stone, just like angry face. But no, it was cool to meet him, and I just had the chance to meet Ray Abraham last weekend.
Yeah, I
Not
saw
for
that. How
the
was
weekend
that?
prior. Yeah, that was cool, man. He's a really cool dude, just a
Good.
regular guy.
Good to
Um,
hear that. Really.
just a regular guy. He sat at a folding table with his son and a couple other folks, just signing books, and he made it very clear you don't have to buy nothing from me. He had hero cards and just I'll sign anything you want. You bring it up here. We could chit chat. People were asking him about what he thought about Northeast Modified Racing. They were asking about Ryan Priest. They were asking him about drivers from up this way. And he spent time. He had to have been there till like 9 o'clock at night. Like he was the official starter for the modifieds, and then he went back to the table during the race, and people were still standing waiting to talk to him. So,
Man, I would have
but
loved to meet that guy. Like I probably will someday.
he's cool. He's cool people. I think my favorite thing about him is, he's just casually talking, but he wore one of his championship rings,
Oh
the
yeah.
Gordon ones. And this thing is just like, you cannot miss this thing. And I was like, this guy is a baller. This guy is crew chief godfathered. Like this is it. But he's
Yeah.
super cool.
Definitely,
He's
yeah,
super.
definitely one of my uh heroes growing up, being the crew chief of my favorite driver.
Yeah.
And then he goes and starts his own team and gets the Owensboro kid, Jeremy Mayfield,
Yeah.
to run with them. And it was, well, I mean, things happen, you know, things happen between
Allegedly.
them two. And, I wasn't there, you weren't there, and who knows.
Nope.
But
Still cool though. Still cool that
still cool.
that something started with the
For
that
sure. Yeah.
relationship
You
and
talked
working
about,
together.
meeting your heroes. Like, um, one guy I never thought I'd be a fan of. Uh, I said that we had a pizza joint, my family did. We had another small, we still have a small sit down restaurant in downtown Owensboro. And I was in the front of the house, uh, greeting people as they came in. And then a guy comes in. This is like the day after a Pocono race, all the way in Kentucky. And
Okay.
it's Matt
So hop,
Crafton.
skip, and a jump.
Yeah.
Matt
Matt
Crafton.
Crafton just walks in, and I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, in my head, this is far from Pocono. He's got some family here in Kentucky, but yeah, I said, are you Matt Crafton? You know? I mean, I knew it was Matt Crafton. He says no. And he's holding a Starbucks cup and the cup says Matt on it. I'm like, okay. And I was like, not Matt.
Okay, Matt Crafton.
I was like,
Okay, not Matt
not Matt
Crafton.
Crafton. Can I get a picture with you? And he was nice, man. He actually came in there several times and you know ate at my family's establishment, which always helps us out. And I mentioned to him briefly when he was leaving one day. I was like, hey man, like bring me a shirt sometime, bring me some merch. And he was like, yeah, I got you. Uh, he said, what size? I said large. Just thinking nothing of it. And then months went by and he never came in. And one day I was sitting in the bar in the restaurant and I heard the door open behind me and then a shirt gets slapped over my shoulder. and I look down and it's like a big 88, like, and I hold it up and turn around and it's Matt Crafton and it's like his dirt modified shirt and he's like, I didn't forget, man. So
That's cool.
super awesome. I mean, Matt Crafton gets a lot of hate out there, but I'll never forget that moment. So he's definitely one of my guys, just for the way he treated me. Um, Super cool guy.
Yeah, that's the cool part about it is like you get to see the other side of it because I don't know, like I feel like people get the wrong impression of a lot of drivers where they put the helmet on and it's like go to wartime, and then outside of the car when they're in their regular lives and they're dealing with their families and their racing careers, like you said, like he runs a dirt late model, like he's doing other things in his life, like you get a different person in
Hmm.
those moments too, which is cool, and it's like that's what I've come to appreciate about like I being I don't know. I don't have a favorite driver really anymore. I feel like I have a lot of drivers I like because of the guys that they are.
Yeah.
You know, it's like not that I've worked as closely with anyone as you have, but like you get a feeling about people from their conversations like we have, and seeing what they do in the media and how receptive they are to different ideas and being involved with fun, cool stuff. And you know, got a Matt Crafton coming into the pizza spot
Yeah.
bringing you t-shirts.
I
That's a
know.
guy you're gonna support.
Yeah, great guy. Gets a lot of hate. I mean, he might deserve it sometimes, but from a
Yeah.
fan perspective, he was great to me. I mean, and that was
I had a
the season he won his third championship without
oh
winning a race. So
I had a cool experience with Daniel Dye like that where
yeah,
we were running iRacing stuff
okay,
pretty heavily about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And he would pop into my TikTok lives and talk in the chat. And I was like, that ain't Daniel Dye. And then one day he hit me up on Instagram in the DMs, you know, and I was like, all right, so this is the real deal. This is definitely Daniel Dye. And then he raced with us a couple of races. I mean, he took us all to school.
yeah,
He smoked us a lot of the time, which I expect that to be the result for the guy who's now in an Xfinity car beating a bunch of Timmy Two Thumbs sitting at home on their sim rigs. But he was super cool. He gave us all like discount codes to go to his store to
oh
like
nice,
buy like his merch, and like he was cool. He did some stuff too with some of the other drivers in that series who had events and charity events and things like that through the iRacing world. But it's cool. Like he's another one who when he was in the truck, he got a lot of smoke sometimes, and
yeah,
people were like, oh, Daniel Dye.
hmm.
But yeah, really cool to kind of get the different side of the coin with a lot of
I,
these
I
dudes
think
to see what
yeah,
they're about.
my last iRacing experience with a driver was not good. It was a long time ago. It was Ty Gibbs.
Uh
Uh,
oh.
this was a long time ago, and it was my fault. Uh, we're running at Charlotte. Caution comes out. My brake bias is set like super low. So if anybody knows what that means, like you can set front brake or rear brake. If you set the rear brake, it'll free your car into the corner. So my my brake bias is set as low as it can go. Caution comes out. I'm getting on the brakes to slow down, and I lose it and just whap right into the
Uh,
back of Ty, and bam, alt F4. Never, I haven't touched iRacing again. That was years ago. I mean, my whole rig is still right here. Like,
just never touch
I
it.
can't. Like, I don't know what happened after that. I don't know if I
You
got
get
protested. I have no idea.
at this point it probably don't matter.
But
This
Ty
car
Gibbs,
removed.
sorry about that. I didn't mean it.
I didn't mean it. My brake bias was messed
I
up.
think I was running a 5 wide sports car. I was like, I can't let anybody see this.
Would have made for great content.
It would have, yeah, yeah,
Oh man,
man,
we got to get you back in the swing of things. It's a lot of fun.
for
I don't
sure.
race as much as I'd like to anymore. I don't know. I have a lot of opinions about iRacing. But
Yeah.
I've been banging on the door of some like an ATYL sponsored league or put together league
Yeah.
where it's create like a creators league
Mhm.
where we can all just kind of have fun and it's not so serious.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. I would, if you guys ever did that, I would be in for sure. A
Yeah, I keep
a creator
bringing
league.
this idea up, and it's similar to what I used to do with the Stream Team Racing League, and that kind of dissolved after a couple years because we had some characters in there that just It was tough. Yeah,
We
it
could
was
probably get
tough.
some drivers in there too every once in a
I
while.
bet you we could. And
I
then
know a
Big
few
Duke
off
is
the top of my
somebody.
head.
Yeah. I mean, it would be wild to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It would be super cool.
definitely.
Especially too, like I know that a lot of people at ATYL have like good causes that they help support through their content. Taylor and Duke and a lot of people do. So it's like being able to do more of that would be dope. I mean, I know Carson's a big iRacer. He's a big moon car guy.
He is. He would definitely jump in if we asked him.
He'd be in the trailer at the
For
track.
sure. Yeah, Parker and Landon, they used to do the Firecracker 400, and they haven't done it the last couple of years. I was gonna jump into the next one, but I don't know. I guess they're pretty busy right now with stuff.
Landon Huffman just won. Where was it?
I'm talking about Landon
Tri-County?
Castle.
Oh, you talking about Landon Castle?
Landon
I thought you were talking about
Castle.
Landon
There's
Huffman.
I forgot there's
Landon
more than one
Castle.
Landon.
I don't know why my brain goes right to Landon Huffman. That's my guy in
Yeah,
the in that tour.
there you
Yeah.
go.
But no, Park Kligerman's cool. I had a chance to I DM'd with him one time.
He's
They're
very
cool
good with
people.
creators.
They're cool people.
For sure.
They treat you like normal people, which is nice.
Definitely, definitely.
Um. So, but you said you never had the Talladega infield experience.
Never.
When are you gonna check that one off your list?
It's coming up soon, huh?
It sure is.
Like
It's
when is
coming
it?
around.
August, September, October? I don't know, sometime like that.
Something like that.
Sometime in that 90 days. I'm thinking about heading out there. We're gonna see what we can do about credentials. And I hear Talladega might be a little stern on some things, which is surprising. Like I never thought I would hear that about Talladega, but
Interesting.
about garnering credentials. I guess I'll have to find out.
I wonder if that's because there's a lot of people who want to be at that race as media.
Yeah,
Um,
for the infield content.
for that,
Yeah.
for that content. So that race is on October 19th this year, or the playoff race. So I mean, it's a party, man. It's something. I camped it one year and did it, and yeah, it's everything you hear about and then some. It's something different for sure. Is there, you talk about maybe going to Talladega, are there other races you might have in the lineup like coming this year for yourself before the
This
season
year,
draws to a close?
probably Indy. Thinking about
Okay.
Indy coming up soon.
That's a couple weeks away.
Yeah. Should probably get started on that. Like I said, Talladega. I've actually never been to Daytona.
Oh,
So we've
you
got
should
that
go
coming
to
up in
that.
4 or 5 weeks. But should my first Daytona experience be at the 500, or I don't know.
It's I don't know. It's kind of like what you said earlier about Indy, where there's so much happening at the track and around the track. At Daytona, I went for the 500 a couple years ago, and I mean the energy at the 500 is unreal. I
Yeah.
can't really compare it to other races at Daytona because since I've only been to the one, but anything you want or need to have or have to have, the place is packed. I mean, it doesn't even matter what week it is. The place gets packed out for anything. There's so many like dedicated race fans that want to be there. They have the museum going on next door.
Yeah.
They have like everything you want to know about Daytona is right within, throw a rock and you can hit it. Infield's really cool there. We took a trip into the infield and just walked around one day. Not like there's nothing like Talladega, but there's some cool people out there camping and having a good time. And yeah, I don't know if it's a good time to go in February, but if you can go anytime, I feel like
Might be a little. I don't know. Might be a little warm going here to the Coke 0400. I don't know.
in late in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear February's not too bad for the 500, but
It sure is nice to get out of the cold. Too,
yeah,
if you're cold in the winter in Kentucky.
for sure. Yeah, it's been banging about 90 plus every day for the last 2 weeks here. So,
Oh,
man,
you must be blowing it our way because it's been like that here too.
yeah,
It's gross. It's gross. Every weekend when I go to the racetrack, somebody passes out in the pits. That's been the last couple of weeks.
Oh
I gotta
man,
wait. I gotta wait. They gotta get the EMTs out there.
yeah,
It's like, oh, it's maybe it's too hot for this. Maybe it's
it
too hot
might
to
be.
wear
I don't
fireproof
know.
pajamas.
Yeah, and then you got the guys in the cars. It's way hotter for them too. And
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, but definitely trying to get to Talladega, trying to do more in-person content. Um, that's one reason why I'm doing this with you now. I
Yeah.
really like your stuff, and I'm trying to do some more stuff. I've been doing the GridRival stuff and balancing on some tires and taking some spills, and yeah, actually, last night I actually went on my local radio for the first time. I've never been on live radio before. So,
How was that experience?
I was a little bit nervous, just talking in front of however many people were listening. I have no idea. I just know that this station is broadcast across Owensboro and all the way to Nashville. So, you know, thousands of people. It was pretty nice. I mean, it- pretty good experience. Just trying to dip my toes into anything I can in person. I know it's not in person; it's just my voice, but
No, but it's
anything.
having the experience of going into the studio and getting in there and being a part of what's happening at the station. And then,
Yeah,
as you grow as a creator and you do things on the radio, there's opportunities to go and meet these listeners. I have a friend who's a local, radio host, and I came from that background early on in my career, and it is a ton of fun if you can be a part of it. In that way, where yeah, you're on the radio and then people listening to you to come up and talk to you and see you at events, and
yeah.
it's very cool. It's very unique experience. And you done it once or twice? Are you going to keep doing it? What's that looking
That
like?
was my first time ever being live on the radio. And they actually had the show out at a bar. So the bar sponsored the racing show,
Oh, okay.
and so we had to do it like on a stage in front of a bunch of people. So it
Oh,
was, it was kind of nerve wracking. It was it was like a 2 hour show, and I went. I didn't know when I was going on, but I ended up going on like an hour and a half in. So I had to wait pretty long time there.
so then give the nerves plenty of time to build up.
Yeah, I think SVG went on before me. Uh, it was a pre-recorded interview, which I guess
Okay.
I guess it didn't seem pre-recorded if you tuned in on the radio, but they
You
played,
wouldn't know unless they told you, I guess.
yeah. So they played the SVG interview, and then right after he won, which is cool. What do you think about SVG winning, man? I mean,
Oh, dude, at Chicago and Mexico, and
yeah,
he's I don't know. He's a special talent. It's just his supercar experience is so diverse, and in the way that he can handle this next gen car. Um, and I'm not super familiar with what those supercars are built to do or how they're built. But it seems like the transition for him was, very simple to go from there to here. We've seen him in the Cup car a few years now, and it's taken some time on the ovals, but it felt like magic. Even in the Xfinity car, just
hmm
he felt very comfortable. Obviously, being able to do what he did, even a couple of years back there, Portland, and then he starts to checking the boxes in Chicago, and then now in Mexico, and then now in Chicago
yeah,
again, and then back to Sonoma this weekend coming up. Um, there's a lot of people who are like, okay, this is the guy on the road courses. But I,
yeah,
I love SVG. I think he's
yeah.
good for the sport. He's a
Me
lot of
too.
fun to watch. He's got good personality.
Yeah, he's gonna make
Yeah,
everybody better on the road courses.
he's going to force them to.
Yeah,
I don't know if a lot of these older drivers have enough time to like relearn this new, like, because SVG's big thing, I guess, is this right foot braking
yeah.
is like
hmm
his big deal with carrying momentum through corners on street courses and road courses. And I don't think that's an easy thing to learn, especially if you're a traditional oval track racer and you've been doing that your whole career. So it'll be interesting to see how guys try to adapt and how young guys like Connor Zilic learn from him and
Yeah, I think Ty
try to
Gibbs,
improve.
man. Ty Gibbs, I think in a couple of years he's going to be the guy. I think he's going to surpass SVG. He's so young and he's so good at these places, man. And Connor Zilic is so good as well, man. But like with SVG, the rookie record for wins in a season is 3.
Yeah,
Tony Stewart and Jimmy Johnson are tied for that. I mean, he's one win away from that, and
yeah,
we got road courses to go. When he won that first road course at Mexico, I was like, man, this guy, that's cool, but he does not need to be in the playoffs. But what
Yeah,
happens when he wins 2 or 3? You
it's
know,
hard to
like
deny.
if and like I said, everybody's getting they have to get better because of SVG. Um, what's going to stop these team owners from going and getting their one road course ringer like SVG? Like, say you're like Roger Penske. I'm just saying names right now. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Roger Penske. Like, do you want a road course guy or do you want like Austin Cindric? Like
Mm-hmm. What's
so.
going to get you further in the
What's gonna
playoffs?
get you
What?
further in the playoffs? I mean, Cindric's he's been doing good. He's been making it into the play. He's in the playoffs. He's won a
Yeah.
race, but I just use him as a loose example. What's to stop these team owners from getting their one road course ringer each on their team? You know, then it's
I
gonna be
I
wild.
think you're I think you're I think you're onto something with that, and I think you're starting to see it happen with Trackhouse, where obviously they have SVG, but they have Ross, and then they're going to move on from Daniel Suarez, and
What's gonna stop them from
without
getting another road course guy?
having a full press release, it feels like Connor Zilich is going to go into that
It does,
car at
yeah,
some point, and it's like, okay, well, he's a road course guy, not as much of a ringer as SVG, but he's going to go out there and put it down.
yeah.
And I think you'll start to see it happen the more they introduce these street course road courses. Do you think we have enough road courses and street courses? Do you think it's like
I think we
not enough,
definitely do.
enough, or too many?
I think we have enough. I think we might have too many. Um, I would like, I do like seeing them mixed into the playoffs. That's that's one I would like always at least one to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really know what's going on with Chicago. I don't know in Chicagoland. There's been a lot of talks about Chicagoland. I don't know if it's coming back. I have no idea. But would they, cancel
Feels
the
like
street course
it's
out for Chicago? I have no idea how that works. Um, Chicago
the way
street
it.
course, it was good, but it was you know, stressful.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the racing product I felt like this year at Chicago was the best we'd seen in 3 years that they've been there. I think it's really up to the city of Chicago if they want to. I heard that they weren't going to try to run it again on 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
So if the street course does come back in some version in Chicago, it won't be the same date, which is whatever. But
I
I
saw
would love to.
yeah, I saw Denny Hamlin talking about a oval or like a square rectangular street course, which
Would
sounds
be
pretty
cool.
cool.
I mean, you can make a square rectangle
You could.
on a driving line.
You
I
can.
mean, they talked about Philly becoming a city that they may potentially visit in a street course
Yeah.
or a street oval, and that made my ears perk up because that's right around the corner from Sal. So it's like
Yeah. Or Pittsburgh,
thinking
man,
about
same state, Pittsburgh down there
uh,
going around
it would be
Hinesfield.
crazy. It would be
That would be
crazy,
cool.
especially like sports complexes. Like if you can get them around big. Like that was the part of the fun of Chicago, is like it felt like a video game because who would let us build a racetrack in the middle of one of America's largest cities? And it's like, here you are, this is it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think San Diego could be cool. I think there's a lot of talk about that. I don't know if that's been made anything official. I know this morning made official though, was Bowman Gray coming back again.
Yeah, I did see that.
So I know that was kind of in the conversation.
Hmm.
That was a conversation that was happening, but it wasn't official. But uh, that was a good time this year. But that kind of reminds me of that. You talk about street oval. Like Bowman Gray is that kind of track where it's like a flat, no banked oval
Yep.
with walls, and it's like this is you get some of the intensity of street course racing on tracks like that because there's only like one way to pass, and it's kind of true at street courses or street courses where unless you're really faster than the guy in front of you, you're gonna have to move guys and do the old Bowman Bubba 1-2 skidoo
That was fun.
to make it happen. That was fun. I had a good time watching that one.
Yeah, that was good. I think that really made the whole bracket system like worth it. Was that
What do you think of
battle?
that? What do you think of that bracket deal
Well,
this year?
it was blown up after the first week. I did
Tough.
I did have Ty Dillon beating Denny Hamlin.
That's
I did
crazy.
have Ricky Stenhouse also moving on to round 2. But um yeah, I think it was interesting. The whole setup for it, the whole points average was kind of weird.
The seating system.
Yeah, I think that the tracks that they picked, I don't really agree with the tracks that they picked. I think if they did like a few other tracks or like not road courses and restrictor play, stuff like that.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see a little more variety in terms of like, okay, we're gonna do a bracket tournament. Let's include a super speedway, a intermediate track, a short track, a road course, a street course, whatever they, however they want to break down those definitions. But that would have been cool versus like Atlanta Atlanta and then like back to back road course races.
Yeah.
And then like Indy, and it's like, all right, this is kind of like a hodgepodge of tracks, like just conveniently slotted in here because you had TNT taking over the broadcast at this point in the year.
The Atlanta race made the seating not even matter.
Yeah,
pretty
just blew
much.
it all up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how we dove into this NASCAR talk here.
I mean, that's what we're here for too. Also,
we just started a whole second podcast in the middle of the podcast.
What'd you think of TNT this week, though, Chicago style? I still haven't. My heart still aches for Amazon Prime. I feel like TNT's took a lot of cues from them and are trying to make it work. They're still figuring it out, but it seems like they're trying to make it work.
I think that they tried to take a lot of cues. I think that they were lacking. During the race wasn't too bad at all.
No,
I think that the post show. I'm not very critical. Like, I won't be that publicly critical about things if I don't like them, but that post show was rough, man. Like, and nothing to do with the on-screen personality or anything. I think it was just whoever was making the decisions to what we're going to show, and because we've got Ross and Joey going at it, and like everyone knew that they were going at it. Everyone on X and the internet knew they were going at it. Like, we want a camera down there, and then
show us that, interview those guys,
and then we've got them up. Yeah, and then we've got Cody Ware that went 500 miles an hour straight into the wall, and I don't know, they didn't talk about him at all. They didn't say, hey, if he got out of the car okay or anything. They didn't talk about it at all. What else did we have? I mean,
they really shied away from the Ware one because so many people were critical of that late caution.
Yeah,
coming in or not coming or coming, not as soon as it needed to.
It was bad all around, and we had the Bubba Bowman thing, and they met up on pit road too, and we didn't get a single camera, a single live shot of that.
All cell phone. When I was cutting up my clips from my show yesterday. All the clips that I pulled from online were all cell phone clips. None of it was, very little of it was broadcast camera. And I'm like, damn, like they need to get these guys in the trenches.
Like, read the room, man. Like, you know what we want to see? Like, SVG went in and he's punting this ball into the crowd. That's great. But go split screen for me, because I want to see Joey and Ross fight. I want to see, I think Chase and Leg got into it a little bit too.
Oh, they did a little bit on track. I saw some driver camera of that where I guess he ran her wide once or twice there through one of the corners, and then under caution she went up there and told him she wasn't too happy.
Yeah,
that was something different.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody post it, but if somebody can still go back to the cameras, if you go to Catherine Legg's in car, the Max shot. When she pulls over onto pit road and her broadcast cuts out, you can actually hear the whole conversation between her and Chase. I didn't post it anywhere. I don't know. I don't like posting stuff like that, but you can actually hear their whole conversation. I didn't see it posted anywhere. So if anybody's got that, you can go listen to that whole conversation. Chase,
that'd be a good clip to have.
Yeah, Chase gave her a couple lessons there. You can hear it pretty good on that.
I couldn't believe that she out qualified Corey Haim in that 2311 car. I mean, I have a special place in my heart for the 78 team. And they're, even with BJ and Live Fast and all of that. So I'm happy to see them have the success, but I was like, it made qualifying exciting again. I don't know. I hadn't felt that like fired up about somebody qualifying. And we're not talking about for pole.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about them qualifying for like, like you're going to be at the back of the field, but you just want to be in the show. There's something exciting about that. So I don't know. That was a cool kind of different.
She finished 19th. I mean,
pretty
a lot of people said, she was to put it bluntly, a wasted spot.
Yeah,
But this
yeah,
week,
yeah.
you know, she came home 19th and made it a lot farther than a lot of the guys could. So
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
she's got a tremendous amount of racing pedigree from, you know, open wheel cars and other things that she's done, endurance racing, and I think she's been in just about every racing series around. So it's cool to see, you know, that progress
Yeah.
happening, which is dope.
Hopefully it keeps going.
I hope so. I mean, I don't know how it would look if I rocked any like Elf 78 gear. It might look a little
Yeah, not
strange
the most
for
wearable
me.
sponsor
Not for me. For
for
other folks,
merch.
I'm very happy they
Yeah.
get to enjoy that. Maybe something that we can integrate as we go along, but I'm happy to support them.
For
They're
sure.
cool people. So tell me, what is your hottest take right now? I ask this to everybody who I do these with. What is your hottest take about the sport or about something you've had on your mind? We've talked about a lot, but there's got to be one thing that is your keystone. Like, oh my God, this is his opinion.
Oh man. My hottest takes, maybe I shouldn't elaborate on them. Joey Logano's championships matter.
Well,
Okay.
they do matter.
It
Despite the road to how they
yeah,
got there. Maybe that's the part that needs to matter.
everybody had the same rules. Why does he keep winning? Everybody, you know, Jeff Gordon is the greatest driver of all time.
Okay.
Um, and it's gonna take a mountain to get me off of that opinion. Um, when you have to go out and race in your first race with Richard Petty, and then you're racing with Earnhardt, Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace, all those legends, and then you move on to race Jimmy Johnson and and all these guys in the new era, Kyle Busch, like all the greatest drivers ever he raced with,
Yeah.
and still win 93 races, 4 championships. Obviously, Jimmy came in, the guy that Jeff Gordon handpicked. He owned the car, you know, so that's got to count for something for Jeff's legacy. Um, it's hard to get me off of that mountain. You know, you have Jeff and Dale Earnhardt going head to head, and Jeff Gordon won almost every single time. I know that Earnhardt was on the back end of his career, and same goes for Jimmy beating Jeff. You could use that same argument, but I think it's different with Jeff, newer style cars, and Jeff actually bringing Jimmy in. Anyway, I just rambled on too much about that. Third, like what else is gonna get me in trouble?
That's what I'm looking for.
What else is gonna get me in trouble? I do like the playoffs.
Oh,
I do like the
boo.
playoffs. I would do a lot of tweaks though. Uh,
Okay.
and
So
when,
not
yeah,
no changes.
yeah, I do like the format. I think that I would probably go back to the 10 race format, or I would go for a similar format, but the final 3 races have the final 4 guys racing for points all the way through those last 3
Okay.
races. Um, so whatever three away is, they're all dead at 0. They're all even, and then we just race for points all the way to Phoenix or Homestead or whoever's the final race. Um, Stage racing, I think that we should have no restrictor plate stages, because we have the fuel mileage. I think you should still get points at the end of the stages.
Right. Just
Um,
not
no
a
caution.
competition caution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it causes a lot of fuel saving in it, and then you get like a big wreck at the end for no reason.
It turns 500-mile races into 10-mile races
It does.
at the end of the day,
Yeah,
especially places like Talladega and Daytona.
for sure. I probably have a bunch more takes that I'll get in trouble for or get hated on for, but you know, we love those. I'll probably think it's in more before we go.
That's what we need. We need
Trevor
a
Bayne was
content
a lot better
series.
than everybody thought he was. Okay.
He's been a killer on pit road too, by
He
the
was,
way.
yeah, he was great.
He's awesome on he's been awesome on TV. He
Absolutely.
was.
Ricky Stenhouse should be in a top tier car.
I'd love to see him running a top tier car.
Uh,
That high
yeah.
car has been fast this year for him.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be fast if he wasn't in it.
Probably not.
Uh,
Probably not as fast as it is.
what else we got here? What else we got here? Man, in-car talent, driving a car. It's hard to beat Carl Edwards. I think he might be one of the best ever at wheeling a car. Just like
That's
raw
incredible.
talent. I'm done.
I feel like there's there's about 50 I could think of off
Oh
the top
yeah,
of my head, but
yeah. Hey, you got to say
I get
one.
my
Tell me
I get
one.
myself in
I
enough
just said like
trouble
8
every
of
week.
them.
Um,
Give me a hot one though. Like
my hottest take. I don't know.
doesn't have to be
Without
the
getting myself
hottest.
in too much trouble.
It's hard when you're on
I
the spot.
Yeah, I think that's not true. I think that the Xfinity cars are a better product than what we get in the Cup car.
I
I
thought
don't
we
know
were
if
looking
that's
for
a
hot takes, not
I don't know if
facts.
that's a hot take. Yeah.
Oh,
I
we can
heard a
take that.
quote one time. I guess I'll give this one.
Okay.
I heard a quote one time. That you can find Cup level talent at any short track in America.
Yeah.
And I've started to believe that
Mm-hmm.
as time has gone on and I've been to local short tracks. So maybe that's my hot take is that a lot of the drivers that we have throughout the national series, you know,
It could be
they
better.
could they could be there could be other people with other names and other faces in those cars doing the same thing.
Not
So
only that,
maybe
but the people in the stands as well. You know,
sure.
NASCAR, they've got a lot of people from iRacing, guys like William Byron, but there could be a guy up in the stands that's just as good as everybody.
There's a handful I could think of that I used to race with that would blow everybody's
Oh
doors off.
man, me too.
And it's like
Money talks.
the money talks. That's at the end of the day, like, oh, I want to be a professional race car driver. Do you have a lot of money? Like, okay,
Yeah,
good luck. I guess that'd be my hot take is that I think that the talent pool is bigger than people realize it is. It's like, it's so hard to do. It is hard to do, but there's a lot of people doing it.
absolutely.
Um, and I guess like one of my final questions always is I always like to make this connection
Okay.
or to see if there's a connection. What do you drive?
What do I drive?
What was your first car and what do you drive now? Is still a question.
First car. I'm the second owner. It's a '89 Dodge Dakota Sport. Black, roll bars, lights on the
Oh
top. It
yeah,
looks
dude.
like Marty McFly's Toyota. I still have it out in the garage. I'm never gonna get rid of it. It was my stepdad's. He bought it brand new in '89, handed it down to me, and man, I love that thing. I always say you're gonna know I'm rich whenever I'm driving that thing. Whenever I get that thing fixed up, back going right. And what I drive now, a 2012 Challenger RT. Orange,
Okay, so
bright
this
orange, the 5
got
wide
that
orange.
5 wide orange. Is that where the orange came from?
Orange is my favorite color. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
I got orange.
So it
I
makes
got
sense.
orange everything around here. Orange logo on the 5 wide. Um, yeah. Uh, orange car. It had to be orange.
That's sick. No, so you kept it sporty,
Yeah,
even though
it's loud too, straight
I,
piped and
I always try to see if that connection is there because I work in the automotive aftermarket when I'm not doing this.
mhm,
So, but not everybody is bought into okay, fast cars on track, fast cars at home. And it's always interesting to hear who is and who isn't and why. So some people they just love the racing. They don't particularly care to go out and spend X number of dollars on a Camaro or a Camry or
yeah,
a Mustang. You know, in your case, it's more Mopar, which is I think is cool, and they're
for
coming back
sure.
into the
We are
sport
a
now a little at
Mopar
a
family.
time.
I've never
Yeah,
in between that truck and this Challenger, I've just had Dodge Rams. I had a '03, '04 Dodge Ram, and then went up to this Challenger. So, and my brother, uh, only Mopar, Rams, Chargers. So,
that's the connection that's there in the sport is the brand loyalty to the OE and like I at home I drive a Honda and a Mazda. I have somehow collected two vehicles for one
there
individual.
you
I
go.
haven't figured out how that happened yet, but
Excited
you
about
know,
Dodge coming back too.
yeah, that's gonna be sick. I hope. I mean, not to like keep us here longer and longer and longer, but I think it's cool to talk about like, oh, he's come back because you hear a lot about, like, even as we haven't really gotten into silly season yet, but you hear a lot about Rick Ware selling, and charters are kind of moving around, and there's
Mhm.
charters stuck in legal battles and stuff like that. And it just gives an OE, a new OE, a lot of opportunity to look more and more appealing to teams, where it's like, okay, the guy I don't remember his name, but the gentleman who just purchased Rick Ware Racing is the co-owner of Spire.
Mhm.
And he now wants to maybe make a change potentially. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. But like, it sure would be convenient for him to go to NASCAR and say, "Yeah, we want to be the first new OE team. Like, what do we have to do? What are the charters?" And try to navigate that world in a very complicated, a very unconventional system of charter dealings. I don't understand it totally, and I
Yeah.
don't talk a ton about charters because I don't get it and I don't know the
Yeah.
legality.
It's above
But
my pay grade for sure.
yeah, it seems like there's a lot of opportunity, especially for Dodge, and especially that Ram is coming back in the trucks. And
Mhm.
I saw there's Greg Van Alst just started a team.
Yep.
I'm curious on that, and then Thor Sport.
They jump around
They
a
kind of
lot.
they got kind of pegged as the first one to be like, okay,
Yeah.
if anybody jumps ship, it's gonna be them.
Mhm.
So I'm interested to see how that goes. That would be really cool.
Yeah. I can't wait.
All right, where can people find you on the internet?
You're gonna
I
find
mean,
me at Five Wide Sports everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever else we might be. I can't remember all the places, but
all the social.
all the social. Yeah, we're primarily on Instagram, but we'll probably be making a little return to YouTube soon.
Okay, cool. All right.
Or
And then I know people too can find you. You have this Sunday Money brand as well that you do some merch sales through. Real quick, what is that about? Where can people find that?
Sunday Money brand. It's just a little clothing brand. I started out of my own home. Um, just some good nostalgia, some Arnhardt, some whatever on these shirts, and yeah, I'll that's always linked in the bio on Five Wide Sports at Sunday Money Brand. So yeah, definitely getting into the clothing business is there's a lot more to it than I ever could have imagined. We've had printers break and chemical spills and fires, and it's been a mess, but I love it.
That's cool though. I mean, those are some wild things to deal with
Yeah,
as you're getting things off the ground. But I mean, hey, it's really cool. I see I see the stuff that you sell on those pages, and it's really very nostalgia driven. It's different than what I see out there from other shops, and
yeah.
it's cool to have as part of your content, and then as part of your presence online, that you're really that in tune with the industry and the sport. So super cool stuff there.
I've actually given several shirts out to a lot of drivers. I remember when I launched that brand, the first purchase I had, I still remember it coming across my phone. I made the announcement, "Hey, I'm making shirts." I had a notification from Noah Gregson that he bought two of my shirts, and I messaged him. I was like, "I can't believe you bought my shirts, man." He's like, "Man, they look so dope." And then, I sent him, and he liked them. So
You got to do that. You got to print one of Carson Hocevar flipping off lane rigs
yeah,
in the truck.
I should, man. Absolutely. I did give Carson a shirt when I was down in Nashville. I gave it was a Dale Jr. flipping off Robert
Yeah.
Gordon.
That feels like it's his vibe.
It is for sure.
That's dope. Cool. Um, any other shouts or any other final thoughts before we pack it in?
Uh Man, I feel like I shouted at everyone. I mean,
All right, I like it.
yeah,
We covered a lot.
yeah. Shout out to Sal for having me on.
Let's go.
Great content.
Uh, no, always appreciate it. I appreciate you, taking the time and doing this. I know it's been kind of a journey to do it, and you're following your process online, and what you make has been really cool to see from the consumer side. So I'm really glad that I was able to kind of talk to you and get a little bit of perspective about who you are, the,
Yeah.
the fingers behind the keyboard, and getting it all done.
Mhm.
So I appreciate it tremendously, and we'll have to have you back and do some fun stuff hopefully in the future together. And yeah, we'll keep on working, and make sure you're following at Five Wide Sports, and stay tuned to to the old Sly Job channels for more of these conversations as we go forward this year.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Cool. That's going to wrap it for me today. Usually these interviews are the end of the stream typically. Again, appreciate everybody for stopping by. I know this was like super long, 3 hours and change between the show this morning and then the interview and then talking with everyone. It was a great 2-hour conversation for the most part in the chat this morning. I appreciate everybody for sticking around and being a part of it. Again, GridRival, use code SlyJob if you're creating an account there. You can get 100 credits towards your account. Also really helps support the creators that are partnered with them through ATYL Media and throughout the NASCAR, IndyCar world, F1 world, the motorsports community. So really appreciate everybody for stopping in. We'll be back again on Tuesday next week post Dover. If you're going to be out at Dover, I'll be posting some updates as we get closer to the weekend about where I'll be and what I'm doing, getting tickets and such. So if people are going to be out at the race, hit me up, do a little tweet up, beverage exchange, or I don't know, just hang out, have a good time. So hope everybody enjoys their beautiful Tuesday, has a wonderful week, and we'll look forward to some action on the concrete high banks of Dover Motor Speedway.